All right, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Late Night Chat with Nico and JT. Our first official episode, I may add.
Yep, that's it. We're going to get it done this time, and we're going to get it done the right way.
So we, if you guys recall, and sorry about the delay, we're going to try to keep that on a more regular schedule from now on. We kind of just tested the idea of us doing a podcast, so we put out a podcast probably roughly about a month ago. I would say at this point.
Waters.
Yeah, and we put something out, and the first subject was the legalization of marijuana in Canada. We kind of titled it episode 0 because we kind of just wanted to put it out there, get some feedback, get a response from the people that listen. The people that did listen, thank you very much.
Exactly.
We did get some listens, surprisingly.
Yeah, I know, eh?
But yeah, JT and me appreciate you guys listening and giving us your feedback. And like I said, we're going to try to continue to do this on a more regular schedule now. So this is episode 1, and our subject for tonight is music, all things music related.
Let's see if we can get some of this stuff right.
Yeah, exactly. Primarily, I will add, mainly since that is the genre of music I mostly listen to, we'll be talking about hip-hop and rap. Some other news-related stuff that we're going to quickly talk about more towards the end, and some broader kind of conversations about stuff going on right now. JT actually listens to a lot of different type of music, as far as I know, right?
Yeah, I just listen to it. That's my problem. Yeah, I don't like to get into all the mumbo jumbo on the news and the radio and all the crap that people talk about on the podcast as well too. But you know what I'm saying?
Well, I do appreciate a good conversation in terms of hip hop with people that do understand the genre, though. So
I try to take the music for what it's worth. You know, not like everybody out there just getting all crazy and all. Just take the music for what it's worth, man. You know what? It's there for a reason. They put it out there for us, to let us listen, to let us understand, for everybody to get a little bit of a picture of, what they're going through. Maybe somebody's going through the same sort of shit. You know what? I think that's what it's all about. Not about this craziness.
What kind of craziness? What are you referring to?
Just any craziness that's been going on, especially here in the city and stuff like that.
Right.
know?
Well, I mean, music is a business, and, there is a lot of bullshit in the music business to go along with that, absolutely.
And that's the problem, too, People take it a little too seriously. I don't know if it's maybe a younger generation or if it's just, me.
Right. Well, we'll get into all that. So I just quickly wanted to mention that is the topic for today, and we're just going to quickly go over a few points here before we jump into all that, our main topic for the night, because that's the point of Late Night Chat with JT and Nico. So that's basically the setup of the show.
Like a stoner, Nico likes to talk like a businessman. See, that's what I think happened last episode. I got a little too high.
Yeah, and a little too nervous because it was your first time on the mic. So
we'll have to see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
And the best part is I feel like I sound like my brother, which is driving me nuts. All right? Shout out to Jesse.
Yes.
And for his little podcast premieres on the old show.
That's right. That's right. He did really set the bar in terms of guests on the old show.
He did set the bar.
And I will mention again, he called in from the road. He called in from a pool one time, a community pool.
If his boss ever needs to know what he does at work, just let me know, and I have the info.
So yeah, we'll. I'm sure we'll get into many other Real Talk with Deeks and P, my old podcast that I did with Peter, your cousin. Over time
to come out and see.
Yes, and if
bring your ass to Toronto, okay, you hillbilly. I'm getting
calling it out. Shots fired. Shots fired.
I love you all, man. Everybody just left us. Poor me and Deeks in the city, and then they wonder why we're hanging out.
Yeah, there you go.
Because we're trying not to go nuts. All right?
Speak for yourself, bro. Come on, I'm good.
We love everybody. Straight up. But you know what? I didn't know when everybody became hillbilly. I knew it was in our blood, but let's stir it up a little bit to start it off.
Oh, I know. Start out a little strong here. All right, moving on. Time to move on. I'm tapping a sign right now, like a call sign. I'm JT. I'm like, all right, bro.
You know what? I gotta stop this. No. We're having a good time.
No. All right. So to start off, I did want to mention, because I'd be remiss not to mention it, as we sit in my side room of collectibles and comics right now, recording this podcast. Being
it's ridiculous, guys, man. I'm sorry.
The walls are closing in on us as we speak.
If there was
If you're
just a
claustrophobic,
slight
you would not be
earthquake
comfortable.
Right now, we'd be dead. And that'd be it. It'd be it.
So I did want to mention, since our last recording, I think probably almost 2 weeks ago now, Stan Lee passed.
Yeah.
Stan Lee, basically the biggest face of comics ever. Like, everybody who isn't even a comics fan knew who the man was. And
generations too.
Right. And most people today know him from his cameos in the Marvel movies, where he'd pop in and act as a character,
That was always cool.
Yeah, every movie that he showed up in. And they still have actually some that are coming. I think he filmed about 3 more, they said. But then after that, they're just going to fucking CGI him in, because, that's what they do these days, right?
Yeah, you can add him in.
Right.
If you have to.
I remember I saw the last...
Sucks, yeah, but
I saw the last Star Wars, and there was a guy, the General Tarkin or whatever, this old bastard. And as I was watching it, I was like, I'm pretty sure that guy's dead. And then I found out after, I was like, yeah, he's been dead for 20 years, the guy.
I never thought of that, really, to be honest with you. I know they could CGI just about anything into anything right now. But, I didn't really think they would do that. I
mean, the harsh reality of it is they probably will when after they run out of the material.
Well deserved.
So, moment of silence for Stan Lee. Okay, so yeah, I mean, the man, despite what everybody says, because if you know anything about Stan Lee's history, is very flawed individual, like the best of them. I mean, every person who has had so much success like that, you hear stories about how he may have ripped off some creators over the years, and how things like he like the creations of certain characters, he didn't give enough credit at the time to the artists that also helped create them, like everyone knows. And along the line, certain people thought that maybe he was the sole creator of a lot of these things, but you got to remember there was an artist behind all of those characters that he created back in the day too, and then as well as the type of input of work he actually put in over the years. But whatever you want to say about the man, he did contribute to comics, and he was a great spokesperson for comics. Like, he sold himself. You wouldn't know these people that in Marvel Comics or the artists back in the day, or Marvel, or even the success that they had cinematically, if it wasn't for Stan Lee.
Yeah, if he didn't have a big part, he might have been the marketing tool for that whole. His name was a little bit easier to remember too.
Yeah, Stan the Man Lee. Well, that's the thing. Back in the day, a quick little thing I know about it, the bullpen, like basically where all the artists used to work and stuff in Marvel Comics, is back in the day actually used to work in the offices, right? Instead of like taking all their work home and just scanning it in halfway across the country like they do now. But basically, back then, he created the names and personas for like a lot of the people that worked for him, and actually got people to like the character. Yes, that's right, and that's what Marvel Comics was. That was what set them aside from DC Comics back then. He made the characters relatable. Yeah. They had problems. They had real world problems, and they had they were actually relatable. The characters that he created. Yeah. So
I'm not 100% sure of all the guys that I'm not the biggest comic book.
Well, Jack Kirby was the guy who created a lot, and Steve Ditko created Spider-Man with him.
The things you say about the pictures and stuff, and the artists, and I mean, just by the pictures you got hanging, you can tell it paints the picture itself, right? You don't even need to know what the story is going to say.
Yeah, it's a medium of writing and art.
I mean, they have
unique
to put
in that sense.
Together,
absolutely, to make the story. The art tells the story just as good as a writer.
Exactly.
So
the art tells the story sometimes better. You don't even need to have
words. That's right. There's a lot of comics sometimes where they let the artist do his thing, and they'll just kind of, the writer will tell them, just draw a scene for 4 pages of this guy doing this, and it'll just be a silent moment, right?
Yeah, so it'll be up to you to figure out and determine what you think you want it to be.
So despite all that, it was a rough couple last years for him, though. His wife died, I guess, the year before he died, and then people were stealing money from him towards the end of his actual death. People were stealing profits, I guess, that he'd been, he was attending cons months before he died. You know what I mean?
What's the difference between that and them doing it at retirement homes and stuff like that? It's almost the same. I unfortunately feel bad for a lot of these older people.
Right.
Doesn't matter whether you're rich, wealthy, not wealthy. They take you for every cent you have before you're gone. And you know what?
The reality is it happens on a lot of people. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and he had a lot of money, and he knew there was people out there that probably knew. You know, people that were
close to him. Yeah, they apparently started stealing money. Yeah,
they probably didn't even have to steal it. They probably could have just talked him into it. I mean, you know, how was he all there near the end?
The guy was 95 years old, and that's the other thing I want to mention. Despite all of this, despite everything that happened in the last couple of years prior to his death, the man lived a life. This guy lived a fucking life, man. 95 years old, and his contribution. That's what I mean. Like,
you know, yeah, exactly.
That's more than a lot of people can say. Like, especially like for like a man of his stature in terms of like how many people he touched, and like it will continue to through the years. You know what I mean? Like he's left
generation to generation.
Absolutely.
I mean, if my nephews are already reading the comics and watching the movies that came from the comics and stuff like that, it's gonna, you know, they'll know who he is. They might not know who he is as a person who was alive, but they'll know him, like you said, as CGI. But they'll know the name, right?
Absolutely. You know, absolutely. So he will live on, folks.
Especially with all you comic book guys out there.
You're about to call us nerds?
I had to bite my tongue because I didn't know how many of...
I prefer geek, but...
comic book buddies would be listening to this podcast just to see what it was like, but yeah.
So a quick shout out to him and all respects to Stan Lee and his contributions. The other thing I'm going to introduce quickly, sorry to interrupt you there, Jay, I'm stepping all over you. Like, you know, that's how I know how I do.
That's how you work. It's all right. I'll figure this out.
We're going to start our first segment for this podcast, and old-time listeners of actually Real Talk with Neeks and P will actually recall this one-liner we fucking used to say to each other all the time on the show. I actually did take this from that, and I'll be using it as this segment name. It's called Check Your Stats. So this is basically where we're going to rehash very quickly. Stealing already, P. Sorry, man. I had to bring it back. The checking of the stats is basically us rehashing very quickly things that we talked about on the last episode. So, like, if we record every 2 weeks and we talk about a next subject, sometimes things happen in the world, very timely stuff, the things that we just talked about, and this is just a quick update and check-in on that.
And if you can remember it, then all the power to you, but sometimes... it's not going to...
No, we're not going to have anything sometimes. That's what I mean.
And you know what? You just have to remind me what we talked about last week, because it's going to be like, oh, shit. We were just rambling, weren't we?
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was, a conversation.
So basically, like I said, our first test episode there, we talked about the legalization of marijuana in Canada. So basically, I did want to mention, since we talked about that, there has been a couple of new developments and some of the pitfalls, things that we thought were going to become issues with the government kind of rolling this out. One of them is that...
issues myself. But
right.
We'll get into that. Let's hear what you have to say.
Well, one of them was that there was a report that some of the weed that was getting sent in the mail, most likely, I guess, because there was the delay in the mail, and the mail was delayed for a lot of this, was that the weed was showing up moldy. There was mold on some of the people's weed.
Yeah, and I think that's the only reason why. I don't think that they were going to actually not know what they're doing. I think they know what they're doing. I just think they had to sit in the wrong temperature, maybe the wrong...
That's what I mean. Was it wet still when they were sending it in the mail?
It was probably
right.
got to be fresh, right, to a certain point, right? And then once it got to the house, it'd be dry. I know I've tasted some that came to the house. Not mine, but to a friend's house, and you know what? It didn't taste right. It got me stoned, but it didn't have that flavor. It didn't have that. You got to remember it. People, they call these things all different kinds of different names and different. There's not really a big taste difference. It's like wine. You can call it whatever you want. It's still going to be wine at the end of the day. It's still going to be grapes, and it's still going to be alcohol fermented in it. You know, it's the same thing. It's still going to be the same plant. They're going to tweak it a little bit. They're not going to put a banana flavor because they like to call it banana split.
Right.
Everything's a marketing tool. And that's what I'm saying. I'm having this problem with Aurora now. And I don't like to, bring it up, but I have my own medical marijuana.
Aurora is what, a distributor?
It's a company. Yes,
okay.
It's a distributor. And they can't keep up with the demand, especially now.
I thought you were talking about the iced teas.
No.
No, it's Arizona. Never mind.
Arizona. I don't know what the heck Aurora is.
Yeah, that's something else as well. I was thinking of Arizona.
Yeah. I think Aurora's up north. No?
Yes.
One of the two. I don't fucking know. All right.
It's the North Star, actually.
My train of thought here.
That's right, bro.
We're going to... Okay. These guys
Yeah.
are really driving me nuts. I've had this prescription now for 2 weeks.
Right.
And probably more now. And I gotta get it. I gotta go back and try to get
JT's
it all
soapbox.
figured out. Yes. And you know what? I figured, you know what? Now that legally I've had to sign something at work about me smoking marijuana, I thought I'd go and make sure I had my prescription and all my bullshit figured out.
Sure.
Just in case.
Yep.
You know, even though for the
Keeping
last
all your
10
ducks in a
years
row.
I've been fucking there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm not saying whether I smoked or not in the last 10 years, but you can leave that up to your imagination. I'm not always as happy as I am. So
You're ray of sunshine.
I told you, give me a few, you know, it takes me about a half an hour before I start to smile in the morning. If my sunglasses are on, don't talk to me. So,
If you see a weird creeper with sunglasses.
It's not because I got a hangover, you know what I mean? It's just don't fucking look at me. But, yeah, so I've been waiting for this, and they keep running out of stock. And the stuff that you need, and they prescribe. This is what they want me to try out.
Right.
You know, for my I do have an epilepsy condition if anybody needs to know about. But,
Right.
Yeah, so I do go and I do try this, and I want to try something different.
Right.
And instead of going as nuts as I do with the marijuana.
But your
I'm gonna
gripe
try.
with Aurora is because...
Yeah, it's because the restocking.
Right.
Right? And every time I try to figure it out, and they have nothing but... They send you emails back, they complain. They don't complain. They start saying, well, you know, unfortunately, we can't keep up. And I get it. You can't keep up with demand. But you should have thought about this before you guys started rolling out all these projects. And I don't want to be one to criticize it like everybody, but it's the truth.
Well, the other thing I was going to mention is there was also a breach of people's information already that on these websites.
Well, you know what? Take my information, dude. I smoke pot. What am I doing? I'm not running around killing everybody.
But aren't you concerned? A lot of people are concerned these days about their privacy. You don't care? You don't care?
I don't care. You know what? Anybody, if they want, you want to know my privacy?
No, but about stolen identity. Stolen identities can happen from this. Fraud. Yeah, that's the concern.
I am not worried about people stealing my identity, bro.
Right.
You want to steal my
No
identity?
one wants to be.
Nobody wants to be me, dude. You know, if they want to be me, go ahead. You know, all the power to you, bro.
Yeah. Take my debt.
Take it. Take it all, man.
That's true.
You know
If anybody wants to be me out there.
I've never, knock on wood, but I've never had, you know, a breach of my my bank information.
Oh, it could be terrible. I've known people that have happened to. That could be, It happens actually more often than you think. That's why they got those people's things set up. You see those commercials for them and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
So, and I don't know what the heck's going on, but yeah.
All right. So moving on there, we're gonna. That was pretty much at least all I had to say about the weed stuff. So basically, it's as we predicted on the last episode. There's just major issues. A lot, like across the board,
I think they'll start to see
with the government so far rolling this out.
Well, major issues. I think they'll start to see a little bit more better when once the postal strike is they're getting forced back.
Well, that didn't help. I mean, and that was out of the control.
Yeah,
but so
you know what? They like I said, they deserve to fight for their rights. So you know, unfortunately, they got forced back to work, and now they.
Also, they couldn't predict the demand. Wasn't that the other big issue that they had? They couldn't
predict.
Right.
They couldn't predict the demand.
Right.
Nobody could predict. You know how many people are smoking? I went into that medical clinic, and there was 60-year-old women there.
Right.
70-year-old women, bro, and people
living it
older
up.
than my grandmother.
Right.
You know, and it's just. That's how many people are actually using it for their benefit, whether it be creams, whether it be smoking, whether it be vaping, whether it be pills. You know, then there's more than one company you can pick from, but these companies seem to be running out.
Right.
You know, now the government should have never ran out. They should have been prepared for this if they wanted to take it on themselves.
Right.
But they weren't.
By the way, for the folks at home, I'm having a nice, refreshing beer right now, and JT's having his usual coffee.
Actually, double fisting.
Double fisting. 2 coffees.
Took about a whole coffee to figure out how to set up this whole setup here.
Now, for a person that drinks coffee as much as you do, do you get the shits like some people that have drink coffee quite often?
Days, I know.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It all depends on the day, I guess.
Right.
To be honest with you, I take a lot of medication.
Right.
So I don't know what gives me the shits more, man.
Right. Yeah, no, but sometimes medication can back you up, though.
No, but I smoke a lot of weed, so that actually helps. That settles my stomach.
Right.
It's kind of like a weird balance.
Right.
You know, I'm not giving any personal advice up there, but it's just for me, it seems to work.
So
it works.
So also last episode we talked about very quickly when we were talking about sports. We had mentioned at some point, because Kovalchuk just returned this year, the fact that
He stinks. You know what? Get him out of here, man. Bring him. Send him back. I don't know why they even fucking signed him. I'm telling you, you can tell me how much he made. I don't really care.
Yeah,
Because
well,
there's a
we
reason they
didn't
put him
know
on
the
fourth
amount
line.
and the amount of years he originally got signed to. But yeah, like you said, he's not doing so hot right now. And you actually had picked him up in the pool, I think, after we had talked about him that day a little bit, right?
Well, yeah, around the same time. I thought, you know,
He's
what
not
the
putting
hell,
up the.
let's try
Well,
it,
LA
see
is
what
doing
he's gonna
badly
do,
though.
right?
LA is doing badly.
Yeah,
the whole
team's
team.
having a
Yeah,
hard time, right? So,
but he did get signed. We did talk about how he got signed for a ridiculous biggest deal ever at that time years ago before moving to Russia. And since we didn't have our facts at that point, I just wanted to update that he did sign a 17-year deal at that time for $102 million,
and, it was
and then
over $100 million.
and he retired in 2013. This was in 2010 when he signed, I believe. He retired in 2013 after the lockout. He returned for a moment and then went back to Russia and then retired.
So basically milked him.
Pretty much. So for 3 years,
There's a Jersey that had to pay for that
it
contract.
was Jersey, yes. Yeah.
That's why they can finally build back now.
Yeah, so after the short lockout time that they had, he decided that he wanted to stay in Russia. After, I guess that's where he went during that time and was playing hockey, because there was no lockout there, obviously. That's what a lot of players did.
Yeah, well,
and then he came back, but as soon as he came back, I guess he retired right away, announced his retirement the same week or something, and then he basically went back to Russia. So at the time when we were talking about that, I couldn't remember the specifics. So, like I said, that is basically the point of this segment, the Check Your Stats. This is just us updating, because sometimes we'll talk some shit on the fly. We want to correct ourselves or further expound upon the conversations that we had from previously. So
yeah, and this hopefully will help us remember. Well, at least I will hopefully.
So before we get into the main topic, Jay, anything going on with you lately you want to talk about?
I had to move again, so
yeah.
I'm living somewhere different right now. I'm living a little bit further away from Nico, but not much. About another 10, maybe 15 minutes.
Right.
It's a little bit more north, back into the old area, but a lot nicer place. I give it a lot of respect to my friend Adrian and his mother and all that for helping me out in a time when I needed it. Right. So.
It's good. You're making big moves.
Exactly.
I mean, you're doing.
I'm trying to do a lot of things.
Thanks,
I'm trying to help. It gives me a chance to reevaluate myself, and hopefully, if everything goes the right way, I'm going to be booking this trip to Taiwan.
Thailand, you mean?
I
said Taiwan,
man.
If you go to Thailand and you think you're going to be in Taiwan, you're going to have a fucking rude awakening.
Right? But no, dude. I'm going to be watching banging cocks over there. What the fuck? Hey, so, hopefully if everything goes right, on the 9th, somewhere on the 9th and the 10th, I should be leaving for 2 weeks.
That'd be awesome, man.
I'd like to set up something where I could, either Snapchat or
yeah, we're going to see if we can get Jay to maybe call in during that period when he's away. Maybe can get another guest down here, and then you can call in or something. That'd be good.
Get somebody as my fill-in, Peter.
Yeah. That'd be great, yeah. That'd be good.
At least to get Peter down here once a week. You know what I mean? You gotta give him a little bit of work to do. He can get this older. That'd be interesting.
Bro, you don't want this guy to roll through. He might outshine you on this show. He might have to kick you out.
I would like to see that. I would like to see.
You're putting it out there right now. You'd like him to come through when you're away. Okay, so maybe we'll talk. We'll see what happens.
He's a good. I heard him on the Your Old podcast.
That's right. You listened to a couple of episodes,
yeah. He's quiet, but he's funny. He's kind of like me. You gotta get quiet.
Well, when I gave him the chance to talk, I did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Nico likes to talk a lot, everybody. And if you don't notice that by listening to one of his many podcasts so far, you'll know that if you don't get your word in there when you want to, especially if he's having a few beers, you're in trouble. But
well said.
Vice versa with me, and we're going to be cutting each other off left and right. So pay attention.
Well said. So that's cool. That'll be good if you go on the trip. Same old shit with me, just working a lot. These last fucking couple of weeks have been hectic.
That's all he does, Nico, man. He works like a dog, this guy. I thought I worked a lot of hours, but this guy just works and works and works. No fun, you know?
I'm having to put in a lot of work here too, as you guys can tell, with JT with this podcast.
Trying to get this podcast, he's been breaking my balls, man. I mean, I've been going through a little bit more and a little more shit.
But this will be something that'll be good too. I think good reason to get together and do something. Exactly.
Talking about this for a while.
I like being productive, right?
I don't hurry up and step it up over here. Nico breaks my balls, and he's not going to be interested anymore, and we're going to be screwed.
So let's keep it going, guys. Let's get the positive comments coming in. Let's let Jay know how good of a job he's doing. He's doing way better this episode already, I must say. All right, so with that, I think if you're ready, Jay, we're going to jump into our first topic here for the first episode.
No, it's I just wanted to say that we got some good feedback there from Lewis.
Lewis, that's right. Yeah,
Thanks
Lewis.
A lot, bro.
And shout out to him for happy birthday. I actually I seen him a couple weeks ago when he celebrated his birthday, and it was a Dragon Ball Z themed party. The cartoon.
You know, it's funny. I used to see a lot of Snapchats from them. I don't see them anymore. They used to put a lot of those posts and stuff like that. Those two, they're cute. So they gotta start putting those things back on. Hey, get on come down, come and be a guest.
Yeah,
we're gonna set up a call in one day.
Yeah, no, he's gonna come on. Yeah, I've already told him he'd come on as a guest. So yeah, thanks. Shout out to Lewis. We appreciate you listening.
We'll see you soon.
My sister Rhea, who listened, checked it out.
Your sister Rhea,
Jeremy, I believe, checked it out. I'm just trying to think of some of the people that checked it out and gave me some good feedback. So thank you to those people. I know there's a few more, but I can't recall right now.
It's okay. We'll figure it out, and they'll know when we talk to them.
Yeah, so I'll be posting it for now. It'll probably be posted on through Instagram and be on SoundCloud.
Yeah, Instagram. Sorry, guys. We're
gonna put it out on more social medias as well. Twitter. I'm at Neeks99 on Twitter. If you have a Twitter account, you can follow me. I'll be tweeting it out on there.
That's what I got to put it on my Twitter account because I haven't figured out how to do that.
Facebook, we'll see if we're ready to put it on there at some point. Facebook's a little bit more open to everyone and a little personal, so I don't know if I'm ready for that leap yet. Well, that's the thing. I don't know if I'm ready for that too, but if you know me personally, we will definitely be letting everybody know now that, we have officially started to come check out our show, so thanks for checking it out. Anyways, getting into their main topic of the episode, music.
About an hour in.
Yeah. 27 minutes, not too bad. Not too bad. Okay. So music. So we kind of have a bunch of topics here we wanted to touch on in regards to music and all things music.
Nico sent me a list of that stuff to go through, man. And I know why I don't like studying in school. I figured it all out, man. It's not studying. I get what I think.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? Nico starts to listen to a lot of music. Considering he has all these comic books and all the time for this, I'm surprised he's got the time.
I'll get into that. Admittingly, I actually fell off this past year to listening to music on a more daily basis like I used to. For whatever reason, just my patterns in life have changed. So I actually haven't given myself. And as of today, I actually signed up for iTunes again.
I don't know what that is.
So iTunes is you pay $10 a month. You have access to. Yeah, I know you. I know. Yeah, fuck off. Right? But I've always not signed up for it. I've always been the savvy one. Like, let's be honest, people. You can get music for free on the internet, but they've actually over the years have made it much harder now to get the music.
I can find it. Well, you know what?
You can find it, but it's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass to find now, though.
It's because you have an iPhone, my friend.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's true.
Once you go to and you
that's why I have to get iTunes.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sitting here watching how you were trying to figure this whole thing out on your iTunes. And it gets a little crazy, and it's probably good for music, like we were talking about, and we wanted to. You wanted to show me about some sort of music stuff and mixes. And
apparently,
stuff
I'm a dinosaur now, and I'm just too lazy.
You know what? I'm tired of paying for my music. They've been ripping me off for years. I will do it for my artists that I like, and I think they deserve my respect. But the mixtapes. There's a reason it's a mixtape.
Right.
Because it is supposed to be.
We'll get into this. Yeah, I have some thoughts on this. All right.
It's recorded. Okay, and it's pre-recorded, and that's how it used to go around.
Right.
I mean, I am the dinosaur, dude. All right.
No, but listen, it used to be a lot easier to find and download music. Even my sites now that I can download music from, sometimes within the same day, later in the day, if you're not on top of it, the links are dead that were once active.
And you use this? Yeah, exactly. Because of course they're on top.
Right.
Of it, and
they're getting better for certain artists. They wipe they wipe them from they scrub them from the internet. Like it's so. So not only that, I don't fucking want to waste my time looking for it. And if I'm so busy working all the time doing this and that, honestly, it is much easier with an iTunes just to click on it and download it. And but we'll see how it goes. I can cancel at any time. It's $10 a month. I'm going to try and see how it goes. I think this is better for me just because of my lifestyle right now, personally, so I'm going to try it again because I think this is a better way for me keeping in touch and listening to the music I want to listen to in a timely fashion as opposed to searching and downloading and doing all this shit. Because a lot of these guys, other friends of mine, they got the stations in their car now that play all this stuff, the satellite radio. I don't drive around in a car all day, right?
No, so smart. You know what? These companies are getting smarter
right.
on me.
And they install it in the car.
A hard time, yeah.
Right.
It's not just in the car. It's everything's coming out now. You're getting into really everything. You're getting into YouTube. You're getting into music. You're getting into the videos. You're getting into channels.
And not only that, let alone the podcasts and the video content that they put out around hip hop now.
Yeah.
That which is so much. On top of that, they're also putting out an exorbitant amount of music. Like at this point, like it is crazy the amount of music that no one can keep up. That's why the album now dies within a week or two.
Yeah. Well,
the album today. The popular album dies
from a lot of people because I sit and I'll listen to that album until I don't want to listen to it anymore.
Right.
And I'm not
like back in the
joking.
day.
Yes. I can listen to it 100 times in a row.
Right.
And some people might think I'm crazy. People from your generation. I know my brother thinks I'm crazy a lot of times because I don't like to. Keep...
you just haven't adapted. That's all.
It's not that. It's just I like to listen to it, and I like to get everything from the song, right? And you can only get you can only pinpoint things that you hear. When you're... This is... you can only pinpoint things that you actually know. That you think is exciting. Like something like, oh, yeah, let's go shoot somebody.
Right.
Some people might think that's exciting in a lyric, but if you didn't miss the whole meaning to that whole
context to that, exactly.
That, if everybody wasn't, in such a rush these days to actually sit there and re-listen to it and not have a problem, because there is so much music coming out.
What you just tapped into is the fact that a lot of music this day, is specifically hip-hop, has lost the content along with it. There's no content and no substance in it anymore. It's watered down. They got a crazy beat behind them. You can't understand what half of these fucking guys are saying, but it bops. Yeah, exactly. It bangs in the car. It's a banger. It's fucking. People love it. But that's the thing. But that's why. A week or two later, you're on to the next kind of song that sounds like it's a vibe. It's a sound. It's no longer sitting there. No, I agree with you. There is still those albums out there. You can find them, which we'll talk about some of them this episode. Yes. But and I also appreciate that because over time stuff ages better if you sit with it and it does. But in the world today, it's very hard for a lot of these people to sit there with music like that anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
When you're coming out with music that fast and it's coming out left and right, and I know every time I turn the site on, I go on the site or whatever you want to call it, it's something different every day, and it's already like 5 new either songs or albums actually that dropped that day. And you're going, okay, and not albums, mixtapes, albums, whatever, from any artist. And I'm talking
they just call them projects.
I'm talking from anybody from hip-hop to country.
Sure.
You know what I mean? There's something new coming out, and that's another one that's gotten bigger is country music.
People love country music. I fucking hate it.
Basically rap music.
I know it's lyric. Yeah, pretty much. Yes. Right? Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of rhyming. It's a lot of crooning. It's like art. Yeah. Sure. Right? Absolutely.
But, so now what I was getting, where the heck was I? See, you made me go off topic again. See, this is what I do.
No, you were talking about sitting there and actually appreciating over time an actual album and
music,
and how we're living in a microwave era. How everything is so easily digestible, like easy to get to now, but it's gone within a week or two. Like people forget about it and they're on to the next thing.
Yeah, they're on to the next. It's on like on to the next best thing. It's on to everything. Nobody's
Exactly.
got time. Nobody's got patience anymore.
Another thing that's changed is the release date of albums. New albums came out today, as we record on a Friday. Remember when it used to be a Tuesday?
You know,
I fucking hate that. Friday?
They don't even now. They're lying to us. They don't even come out. I'm still waiting for the Joner album.
Oh well, we're getting into that.
But, you know, seriously, like they don't even tell us.
Well, the rollout is months now, like to the actual
Or
album.
they're just trying not to say anything at all.
Right.
Or wait until somebody gets arrested. Wait until somebody gets until something happens, and then let's say we'll drop out a new album. It comes out from somebody big, right? So, it's just when I listen to the music, I take into the importance of it, and I take into what it's for, and I think the importance of music to myself personally is the meaning, what you get from it. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean every sentence and every lyric has to agree with a part or a time in your life.
You don't have to relate to everything.
Same way, like it doesn't have to be your girlfriend. It doesn't have to be your family member that they're talking about, that I'm talking about. That in the song that I'm trying to get, what I'm trying to get, it's what I'm trying to get from it. It's what I might not relate the same way that somebody relates to a mother as a mother. I might be listening to it for another reason.
Well, that's why I was going to say, for me, the importance of music is it is a very personal thing, and for me, the reason I love music so much is that I take from music things I remember through my life. I remember where I was when I listened to like certain albums or certain songs. I remember what I was going through at that time. I remember
where you were in your head.
Right. Whether like how happy I was or how sad I was or how a story related to how I got the album or or you know what I mean? Like, or what was happening at that time. Like we were all, I was with friends at that time and we were listening to this at that time. You know what I mean? Like, I remember I picked up that album back in the day and had to get my dad to come in and buy that album for me. Things like that. Like,
you showed me certain songs this week, and you've been sending me some music this week that related to some certain times. Now I can understand why that you actually understand. Now that I've actually listened to the lyrics and I've actually understood some of the words. Like, hey, like I said to you, I was never a big Joe Budden fan, and I tried to tell you that I couldn't get into it for some reason, and you sent me some stuff the other day, and I can't remember right now the songs.
Walk With Me was one of them,
from his first album, like a couple songs that were really good that he sent me, and now I understand why. Because if I'm thinking about the way you were at your life when you might have been listening to them, you know what? I can understand why you liked it.
Right.
Maybe at this point in your life, it's not what you want to be. It's not the same meaning, but you understand. It brings you back to a time, and it makes you understand that, you got out of it last time.
Right.
You're going to get out of it if you have to this time.
Right.
That's what I do, and people wonder why I listen to a lot of, Eminem. Stuff like that. I'm a big fan. Don't get me wrong. And there's nobody anything.
There have it, guys. It was 10 minutes till we talked about some artists you assumed we were going to talk about.
It was more than 10 minutes, man. It was a half an hour we've been yapping, okay?
No, but 10 minutes on the subject of music. But anyways,
I know they want me to say something.
Yeah, about
They knew I was going to talk about it. But that's exactly the reason why. Is because you take it for the importance of music. You take it for what it's worth, right? And you know what? A lot of that stuff to me is meaningful, and we could probably get into more of that after, but I just wanted to let you know that it's going to be. And
well, that's the thing. We wanted to talk about the general topic and how widespread it is and how much of a big topic is in itself, because music means so much to certain people especially to us. As you can tell, we are passionate about it, and it means something to everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So
there's a lot of young people out there taking it the wrong way, and it shouldn't stay that way. And I know I hear a lot of stuff coming from the East End now and stuff like that in Toronto, and it's unfortunately it's stupid. But they gotta understand that everything that's going on in the music industry is all marketing, man. I don't care what you and anybody want to say about it, but yeah, it is, and it's got to do with a lot of it's got to do with that, and you just got to take it for what it's worth, because they're making money off of us, guys. And you know what? If we start acting stupid and taking it for what they're saying, then they're not. Remember, they're not the ones out there causing the violence anymore.
I mean, me myself,
They're talking about a time when they had it rough. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or some of them even had it rough.
You're talking about people like artists making music independently in Toronto. You're talking about like that,
Anywhere,
or
man,
yeah?
anywhere.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? Like in Toronto, yeah.
Yeah.
Right now in Toronto,
Are you talking about
we got-
gang-related
we got
type
a lot
stuff?
of weird stuff.
Yes,
going on,
absolutely,
I don't know
yeah.
if it's gang related.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just
Sure.
punk related.
Yeah.
Who knows, right? Like,
Well, me myself, I mean, that's how much I like music too. I've dabbled in making music. I've made songs.
And you know what? I've told you from day one, man. You've always been good at it. And,
Well, I appreciate that. You know,
and it's a great hobby to have.
but it was more of me just to do something creative and have fun with it.
Exactly.
Like,
It's a
you know what I
great
mean? I'm
hobby to
not. So yeah, I've made some rap songs for anybody who doesn't know that's listening. I you know, even recently, my favorite type of rap music though is the competitiveness of it is the beef and the disses and this kind of stuff, to the point where I sadly, or in a really good way, depending how you look at it, I've even teased my own friends on songs, made disses against my own friends.
Because you love them, bro.
Well, that's the thing. It just brought something out in me and gave me something to do, in the sense of how creative I can get with it, because I personally know these people, and also as a way of just, you know, like having fun with it. Like, I never took those things seriously when I did them, but that's the thing. And I've made music for myself because, like, not to go anywhere with it, I never actually thought I would actually make something out of it. Maybe at some point in my head, but you know, it was always more of just a creative output for me, in a way to kind of express myself in a different way. So, and that's basically what podcasting is to me too, for that matter. So that's, you know, I like doing these things, keeping myself busy.
Sure.
Anyways,
it's an interesting
a big
way to keep yourself busy.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even know how you have any time anyways to do
I really
anything.
don't.
You were scrounging up here quickly to run and put it together and get everything prepared for us today here.
So another big part of at least my interest in rap music over the years, and this is a more general topic, I'll throw it out to you first and get your thoughts on this. Would you say mixtapes are dead? Now, mixtapes, for anybody who doesn't know, before you go on there, are basically CDs that artists put out as promotional tools, rap artists, over the years. They usually hook up with a DJ. Sometimes their DJs have made big names for themselves out of doing this, and they made mixtape series. Some artists had series of mixtapes where it's the same artist and there's a name for that series, like Lil Wayne had the Dedication series with DJ Drama, for instance. And over time, the mixtapes usually were better even sometimes than the albums content that they would put out. But they would promote themselves by putting these mixtapes out in the streets, if you will, or just, like bodega, like they would sell these things at stores and they'd be out on the internet. Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing.
Sometimes just giving them away, man, just to
Right.
get them to the right people.
But they would steal samples, and they would take samples and they would rap over other people's beats.
A lot harder back then.
Right. And sometimes those were better than the actual artist's songs. And that's the thing. And then they would make a name for themselves, because like when a Wayne tape came out, I'd be like, oh, well, fuck, I gotta hear this. I gotta hear what beats Wayne took and fucking killed the artist on, because like a lot of the time he would just jack somebody's beat, rap over it, and do 10 times a better job than that person would do. And the shit you could do on a mixtape was more wild than what you could do on an album. Like, an album had to have that pop song, that single, you know what I mean, the song for, you know what I mean, the thoughtful song, the song for women, like, you know what I mean, like R&B type song. Like, but a mixtape, it was just like, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna kill this. Like, I'm gonna fucking go crazy here. I'm gonna fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna
Nowadays, I think, personally, there's too many of them to be going through and making it popular. I know there's an importance of your mixtape and doing that kind of stuff, right? But in a sense, you know, I don't know if they're alive or dead right now, because there is a lot. If you go on the websites, that's a lot of what you're going to get. I mean, the first whole crap load of zip files I go through is just, mixtapes from everybody and people I've never heard of. You know, all these.
Well, DatPiff is still around. One of the sites that, that was a big site back in the day. That's still around.
There's still quite a few sites. I know of quite a few sites, Hitmac and stuff like that. And there's and every day there's different mixtapes. Okay, some of the guys once in a while drop an album here and there, but 90% of the music on there is mixtapes. Now, whether that makes it more popular, it might not. I don't know if it makes it more popular to become famous.
Is it still a mixtape if they don't brand it as a mixtape though? Because not even people don't
like they're
don't even
marketing
brand
it.
things
Yeah.
as there is now things that would be considered mixtapes back in the day that are being sold same day release on iTunes as a CD technically. Like Drake before Scorpion, his last studio album,
Yeah.
put out what would be considered mixtape projects prior to then.
Yes.
Smaller EP, whatever have you,
Yeah,
like 5-10 song little fucking things that he did.
Yeah.
He did one with Future. You know what I mean?
I
If you're
feel
reading
when you
this,
get
it's too
really
late.
Big, though, when you start to get big,
Right.
you start using EP instead of mixtape now.
But now they're calling it playlists or projects. They're using different names for it now, and they're selling it online.
I think Lil Wayne, that last one that he had about 5 songs or 6 songs on it. I can't remember.
The Last Dedication?
No, he had a mixtape album that came out a little while ago.
Right.
I had downloaded it, and it was, I don't know, it was more like a love-making Lil Wayne song. You know, it was a little different than I'm used to.
Right.
It's been a while, right? So, but yeah, that one there, it wasn't even an EP. I think
Sometimes they release ones with 3 songs. 3 songs now. They
Yeah.
release. But that's the thing. But they can do that now because your average album now is 10 songs. 10 to 12 songs is your average album these days.
yeah, that's another thing.
That's
right?
changed as well over the years. And mixtapes back in the day, you could put 15 to fucking 20 songs on a mixtape. And, you know, some of them were 2-3 minute songs, but you
But
could...
you're talking about stuff like, when you were talking about mixtapes leading into albums, you're talking about stuff like dedications and stuff like that leading into...
Well, those were mixtape series, but mixtapes originally were used as promotional tools for the rollout for the album back in the day. It was like, hey, listen what I can do here.
Yeah.
And if you like this, pick up my album.
Yeah.
Like that was the point of, and it was a way for them to do it in a cheap, on the cheap, because a lot of the times they would steal beats. But let me just continue before I want your thoughts on this. Is the fact that the reason why I think that mixtapes could be on life support, if not dead already, is not only that. People like DJ Drama and other people that have taken some samples or beats over the years have been taken to court over this and been sued because of this, because the fact that mixtapes, because they were sold on the street and it was just like, you know, back in the day, like it didn't fucking matter where they were ripping these samples from.
You're telling me they're getting sued for taxes and stuff
Yes.
like that?
Yes,
Yeah,
he was
but
he
that
taxed it.
shouldn't- You know, I mean, that's not right. I mean, you got people selling T-shirts on the street that don't get their ass. If you're
Right.
I mean, but see, they started making more than over the amount.
But they weren't privy to this at first. But
Well,
then
see,
once
at first,
they
because
once
they
it
weren't
became a
making that
big
money.
right, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh, DJ Drama, look at him, he's got his name on all these fucking things that aren't
money now.
right.
Right, and that's what I think's happened. That's all. I mean, and it's going to happen with anything. If you're selling T-shirts on the street and you're making over more than 10 grand, I
Right.
hear it's 10 grand or something like that. You get tax free. You know, but other than that, after that, you got to start paying taxes, dude. It's shit. That's just how the world works.
But the
brother.
spirit of the mixtape was
I
that you
know.
could jack beats back in the day, and now they've made that hard for people to do. You can't get away with that
It's
shit
not.
now
I
because
mean-
they're selling it on iTunes and things like of that nature.
But what you also need to remember is
Because
that
it was never
even
for
beats
resale
they're
back in
gonna
the day.
jack, Yeah.
It was always people would just print the CDs out, and you might buy them from somewhere, but it was always
Put them together.
it was always somebody who was just selling them out of a fucking shop or something. It was put out on the internet for free.
Yeah.
But now, because they found a source, like, listen, if I'm putting it on iTunes the same day and there's a sample on there,
Yeah.
and you're fucking using my sample, and you're making money off of that sample, and
Yeah.
you're rapping over my beat, guess what?
You're gonna pay
I
me.
want, yeah, exactly.
I get it, and you know what? You would want it too, dude. Everybody would want it. It doesn't matter back in the day. It wasn't that easy, though. That's why you'd have to buy 2 separate, and that's why it's making it hard. I think it's making it harder. But you'd have to buy 2 separate albums and record it with your own little actual mix tape,
right.
When it was considered, when it was actually a tape,
Right.
right? And you could just hit record, have your recorder there, kind of like with the whole computer setup. But see, they didn't have the computer setup, and now they're starting to do all that, right? You got a lot of podcasts, you get a lot of stuff going on. But to be honest with you, they have ruined it a little bit because it's not as fun as it used to be.
No, exactly.
Because you can't make the money, you can't See, like I was that when I was talking about Velvet Sessions, came out of nowhere. I don't know what.
That's the Lil Wayne one. Okay,
yeah, and it's just
all right.
It's 10 tracks, but I have no idea like what the heck they're from, like
right.
where they're coming from, where they came from.
So I mean, it could just be leftovers from another project. Lil Wayne is a little bit more difficult because of his being signed to Cash Money prior to that, right?
Sometimes it just sounds like he's a little stoned.
Of course, always.
Maybe he's just bored that night,
right?
Like kind of like
I was gonna put this up.
Yeah, he just put a whole bunch of songs on. He starts getting all messed up and starts singing to himself,
right?
You know what I mean? And then he calls it a mixtape. A session,
right?
Maybe that's why it's called Velvet
Sessions. Right. Maybe just one night's worth of work. Hey, fuck it, put it out.
In his velvet sheets. He decided he was stoned and he was just sparking up a joint every time it started, and and just started writing out his love songs to himself.
So is it dead or not?
I think there's no point. I think it's just an extra way to make some money now. Mm-hmm. Because if they're paid money for it, if they have to pay money to people, if they have to pay taxes on it, then you know what? They're making a shitload of money. Before it was to get them recognized.
Right.
And now they don't need to be recognized. If they're good, you'll know they're good.
Well, now these younger guys, they've paved a whole new way for themselves to promote themselves. You can see somebody on YouTube, SoundCloud. That's what I mean. Like, they don't need to necessarily put out mixtapes.
We went to... and there's some guys that used to put out some of the best mixtapes. I listened to some of the... and I'll give a shout-out to MGK, too, because... Sure.
That's how I found out about him, yeah.
Mixtapes, right? And that's how I didn't
500, is it 500 words in running, I think?
Yeah. 500, before we went up to the Lace Up tour.
Yes.
Remember, we got to visit that. That was great. That was when it was a little shithole place.
2013 or 14?
I don't remember. It came up on my Facebook the other day, and I noticed.
Maybe even been before that. Yeah, it was
a while
6-8 years ago.
Yeah. And it was just a crazy time. People doing backflips off of garbage cans. They were in their tour buses afterwards. People. It was just. Where was that nightclub there on Cherry Street?
Is it Government?
It's not the Government.
Not Government.
It was. What was beside it? The Cool House, isn't it? Cool House.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is there. But yeah, we went there. Remember, and it was a great time, man.
Yeah.
And that's the first guy I really picked up new from mixtapes. All the other stuff I started to hear through CDs, through tapes from friends back when I was younger. A lot of my music I listened to on tapes, man. When I was growing up.
Yeah, he had the Lace Up mixtape prior to the Lace Up album. And then what some people used to do is the 2 or 3 most popular songs off the mixtape, they would actually put on their first debut album. Yeah. Like the breakouts, they would just produce it better, and then they would put it on the album. That was another thing you used to see. So what were some of your favorite mixtapes then from back in the day that used to come out?
That wasn't that far back in the day. That's, but really back in the day, if you want to go crazy mixtapes, you can go anything. You can go everything from... I've listened to NWA mixtapes that were before me, even before I got into listening to music, really, right? And got into old, even Infinite.
Infinite wasn't really a mixtape.
EP. That's another way of putting it. But still, what was it? There was a mixtape before that? You got a mixtape before that? No,
it went right. M didn't put out. It was all unreleased tracks that were kind of just floating around the internet. Napster back in the day.
A lot of music. That's what the thing was. That was the easiest way to do it. So
that's true. There's a lot of freestyle sessions and things like that they put out.
I've heard Wu-Tang. I've had some of those old school hip hop stuff. I've lost throughout the years. I've had more CDs than I could. Remember.
Well, for me,
I've lost more CDs than you probably have books in.
For me, Dedication series was huge. Lil Wayne, especially Dedication 2.
Yeah, you guys were into that big time. I know. I remember. I started listening to it. We all did.
And the Lloyd Bank Money in the Bank series was fucking fantastic. Because at that time, G-Unit was so popular.
And what else did he come out with?
Well, the G-Unit mixtapes. All the G-Unit mixtapes were fucking awesome. All the Who Kid ones. The G-Unit Radio series. Yeah. There were some good ones. All, like any New York rapper back... What's that?
That's what happens. They get too rich for each other, and they don't know how...
Oh, fuck. D-Block had a series of mixtapes.
You lose friends that way.
Yeah.
You become rich.
Or locks, I guess.
Some people, know how to take that route a different way than others.
Yeah.
Right? and you know, you get lost, right? You get lost in the money, you get lost in the success.
Well, you
Some
mentioned
people are more successful than others, like
Right.
you're talking about in a G-Unit group, if you're
Yeah.
talking about any sort of groups.
But that was a
in
way
general.
for Budden to kind of shine on his, not Budden, sorry, I was going to mention him too, the Mood Musics. You talked about him earlier. The Mood Music mixtapes were a big deal because he was way different on those. That sustained him with an underground presence and an actual cult following when his career did not work out for him. Everyone knew him as the Pump It Up guy with that one big hit single. But if you looked over what he was doing, oh, look what he's doing over here in these Mood Music tapes, it was a complete different fucking tone. Like, it was like, you know, what people at that time would soon consider to be emo rap or rap with feel, which is crazy because today that's very popular. Like that kind of genre of music, right?
Almost like a storyline.
All these, so all these kids are drugged out. Oh, my issues. Oh, I have all these problems. No, but it's true.
It's true.
No, but it's,
No,
and everybody, no, but listen, but
Yeah.
back then people used to make fun of it. Now everyone wants to talk about mental health. Like it's a hot topic.
I don't think they really care. You know what? I know they want to talk about it.
But
I get what
people
you're
are
saying.
dying to make themselves like, oh, I have a mental issue. Like they're trying, like it's like you know what I mean. Like there's artists breaking through because they all want to have an issue now. Like I have a problem. Like
90% of them have it.
are lying, and some of them are lying. But that's
Some of them are.
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But, I mean, there is quite a few artists out there nowadays that have mental. It's not so much mental issues. It has to do with the way they grew up, bro. It's just like the way a lot of people in society grow up these days, man. They don't grow up with, they got into music for a reason. Like we were talking about it. They got into music because they wanted to feel good about them. They wanted to feel good about themselves, and they needed their escape. Some people would, go to the gym and join a gym and do that kind of stuff. Some people get lost in their music. And some of these guys got lost in their music. They picked up addictions. Maybe they wanted to become, something like that in their life, and they wanted to become artists, and they wanted to become famous, and they wanted to do all that. And sometimes you got to take a crazy route.
Right.
So if you're in depression and you're going on those crazy routes, those crazy concerts like we've seen at MGK, you get to get smashed. You have to get really fucked up.
Yeah.
And that doesn't play any goodness on any of your mental health, bro.
No.
So, and a lot of these young guys, I think, are getting taken advantage of it by big record companies.
Yeah.
I don't know how much, they actually get taken care of.
And these guys don't give a shit about their well-being. These
They don't.
people,
At the
yeah,
end of the day,
just
they don't.
yeah.
They keep them, and there's a lot of songs out there that'll talk. And if you actually listen to them, they'll talk about that whole mental. You can get it. You can get that out of it, and how they don't give a shit. They just want their money. They just want to be, they want you to sell your albums. You sign a contract. It tells you what you got to make 10 albums or something. You got to do 10 albums for us, or 5 albums for us, or whatever the contract says. And you know what? Then that starts to put pressure on you because they give you a shitload of signing money, and then they say,
right
here. Have fun.
Right.
And then if you're not smart enough to handle that the right way because you have mental health issues, then you know what's going to happen?
Yeah.
You're fucked.
Yeah, self-destruct. Yeah.
Exactly. You're going to throw yourself off the bridge.
Yeah, I didn't mean to downplay that subject at all because that's a whole other topic. But I know what you're saying. What I'm trying to say though is now it's a trending, and back then people used to. It is trending. So back then, though, people didn't take it the same way as they do now because we've been exposed to so much more of it now. I think people actually take notice but the fact that it's sad because people are also using it to promote themselves.
That brings everything in this world is about marketing. I told you, dude. And everybody's marketing everything and anything you can think of in the right way. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is. It can be mental health. It can be your sexual orientation. They're marketing it. They're trying to do stuff with it. And, it can get a little crazy. And people with mental health issues sometimes have a hard time dealing with all that other stuff that they have hidden in the closet, So you got to remember that, too. And these record companies, they don't care. Oh, no, we'll help you out, man. And then you get hooked, and you get hooked, and then you find.
We're seeing it happen. We're seeing it happen to a lot of artists.
Well, I mean,
I don't know if you've seen this idiot kid. What's his name? This little Xan. You ever hear about this kid? He just checked himself into rehab.
Eating Cheetos?
Yes.
I don't know, the hot
Yeah, the guy got a Cheeto fucking overdose.
Yeah.
Anyways, this kid, I don't like this kid. I don't listen to this type of music. I don't listen. I could care less. But he's obviously got a problem. Today they just announced that he checked himself into rehab, and if he's serious about it, good for him. I mean, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But he's one of these. He's a young white kid. I don't know. I think he's younger than 20. He can't be. He looks like it at least. If not, he's early 20, like maybe 20. If
He probably didn't check in unless he wants.
He's got all these crazy fucking face tats all over him. You know, he's doing way too. I mean, his name's Lil Xan. Like Xan, you know what I mean? Like he had some friends apparently in this business that were close to him that died already from overdoses last year. Like that's what I mean. Like, a guy got shot. That XXX Tentacion fucking dude. He was he came up with them. There's all these guys that are in the same kind of genre of music and circles, right? So anyways, but that's what I mean. Like, these are the type of guys, though, like, we're seeing these things play out in front of us, their demise. Like, that, and we'll get into it later on. 6ix9ine, he's not one of these drug addict fucking rappers, but this is a dude that fucking promoted gang violence activity, and guess what? He got now fucking caught up with the feds, and he's in jail. Yeah. Like, that's what I mean. So, like, and he did all this, and I'll try to use this to transition to our next topic here, by trolling people on the internet and being a fucking troll in hip-hop. And trolling is basically just making up shit just to fucking, elicit reactions, basically, out of people online.
That's how you never know what the hell
is real.
And what's fake.
Exactly.
So, and that's where I'm having a problem that's why I don't like to listen to so much the news, because I don't know what the hell's real and I don't know what's fake. I try to get the right, information and stuff like that. We try to always pick it up, but the best way to pick it up is in their music, man.
But the shit that they're saying in their music is fabricated.
Some of the kids and these rappers are just bullshit. Some of them that's coming out is just not.
Some of them live that life. Like, don't get me wrong. There's these some guys you could tell, like, they're like, yeah, that dude lives that fucking gang life he's talking about. This guy.
It hasn't come up like a lot of it when they first started out. When the rap and everything, when they first started, it wasn't when you're talking mixtape days, those old school mixtapes, right? You're gonna. That's what they were talking about, their real life stuff. These other kids are just making it up now with a catchy beat,
right?
With a good chorus and a catchy beat, and that's it. You get stuck, and you just want to make money. I think it's all about just wanting to make money and making yourself look good. You look funny,
right?
I mean, we look funny with all these tattoos on their face. I got nothing against tattoos, but. I've never had one, but I mean, these guys with tattoos, 6ix9ine and whatever all on your face, and like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what they like, that's what they like. But did they really come from a place where were they in and out of jail? He didn't look so happy.
No,
going into jail.
Well, that was Daniel Hernandez that you were seeing. I think that's his name.
Yeah, that's his name,
that was Daniel Hernandez that you were seeing in those situations. That wasn't 6ix9ine, the gang member.
On his forehead.
No, I know.
Still doesn't take it away from the way people judge you.
But as I mentioned, we're seeing some real shit getting played out right now. But at the same time,
stare down from in the courtroom from. Did you see it?
Yeah.
What's his name there? Come on, help me out here.
Shoddy is his manager. What are you talking about?
There was another rapper or something that happened, and I had it down. I had to remember it.
Oh, because a lot of his other crew, like his manager and other people that were with him, also are under charges right now. And then
back at them kind of too, are they not? Like some of them are.
No, and the allegations that have come out now since he's been arrested. Now there's a lot of shit. But here's the thing: they're even flooding the news of him to the point where you can't decipher what's real or what's fake. But that's what his whole image to this point has always been about that, and that's why I want to kind of get big trolls in hip hop. For me, biggest troll in hip hop, even before trolling was a thing, is 50. 50 is the fucking best, man.
He likes
50.
They like to stir everything up.
Did you hear about his move recently? He did with Ja Rule. Still,
He said something to Ja Rule.
you didn't hear? Okay, listen to this. So Ja Rule had a concert that was, I guess, like he wasn't like no one fucking goes to see Ja Rule, so this guy couldn't.
Oh yeah, this is when he bought all the tickets in the front row. You're a little bit behind. There's even more allegations and fun about him that's out now.
Yeah, well, please enlighten me then if that's the case. But the fact that he did that and then fucking talk shit about he bought like 200 seats at Ja Rule's concert, and so there would be nobody in the front row.
Yeah, just to piss him off on purpose, man. I know, why not?
And the fact that like no one was buying the tickets too, because I think he did it like some of those like Groupon things or something, wasn't it?
He's got money. What does he care, man? He doesn't care. He's got more money now.
How petty is that, though, Jay? How many years later is this John? Like, you know, like at this point, he doesn't even care. Like, it's not like he has a beef anymore. He's just like, fuck you, whatever. I mean,
I can do it. You know what? I can do it now, buddy.
And all the success 50 he's had with Power, the show, and just like he doesn't even make music at this point. He's just a professional troll. He loves it.
Dick he really is, because
bro, he's so petty
about his fucking son. There's something about his son he didn't care. He wouldn't
his
alleged son.
But that's the thing, he just fucks around. When 6ix9ine got arrested because
talking for real when he says that, like, I mean, that's what I want to know. He's doing this, so is he messing with us?
He was running around calling like 6ix9ine his son for a while, right?
Yeah.
So then 6ix9ine got arrested, and then he's just like, don't talk to me anymore, man. He like put a post up. He's like, the feds are after you. I'm like, bro, this guy's actually in jail. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, he doesn't care.
I mean, he probably answered his call, but this is like he's actually talking about a son, man, that he has.
Right.
They're talking about a son that he has that he's doing
right.
to now.
His new thing is positive vibes. Did you see that? Whenever he posts out, he might say some foul shit, but then he'd be like, positive vibes, guys, positive vibes.
Who's the other one? The other one was get the strap.
Yeah, that was that's the thing. But this is his way of promoting himself, right? Like doing those one like get the strap was huge. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like everyone would fucking say get the strap. Then he made it a song with 6ix9ine and fucking some other rap, Casanova, and that was I don't know how big that of a hit that was, but
TMZ, they go stupid. They just talk about everything. I don't know what to believe with them anymore either. They have a great time with it all too, with the whole. I don't really watch. I've never really watched it, but it's always reports if I'm reading through stuff.
Right.
Yeah, with TMZ.
Yeah, sure.
It's always everywhere.
Well, they've been the big go-to news source for Kanye rants lately too, right? Before he got on the actual TV with the fucking president, which was ridiculous.
Could you imagine? He actually tells. Was he talking about his actual son though?
50 you're talking about. Yeah.
Marcus or whatever his name is.
Well, yeah, because he had he posted some pictures about them, like, hanging out and stuff, and then he tossed his son across the, I don't know if you saw it, he, like, picked up his son, and he threw him, like, he's like, oh, yeah, my son are playing, and he just, like, whipped him across the room. Like, he just...
When he was a kid.
No, this is recently.
Yeah, but he's older now, the son.
Did you see his 50's Thanksgiving recently? Like, he took a... He's like, oh yeah, Thanksgiving. Like, he went like he made like a ghetto ass sandwich where he just took like a piece of like the Kraft cheese and he like put it. He put like a little piece of like chicken and he put the Kraft cheese on top of a sandwich. He like put it in the microwave.
So that's what his Thanksgivings were like, man. When he was probably.
But that's what I mean. He's just like, but then he's laughing like, oh, you guys, your fucking Thanksgiving dinner. Look at me. Look what I'm doing.
Well, yeah,
that's what I mean. He's a comedian, bro. This guy.
Why not?
He loves fucking with people, man.
He's a Donald Trump.
Meanwhile,
he's music industry of social media.
He clowns what's his face all the time now. Floyd Mayweather, because they had a falling out. He fucking makes fun of Floyd all the time. Bro, this guy's the most pettiest human being of all time. I'm telling you, there's no boundaries for this dude.
Oh, look at this.
What's that?
1 hour ago.
Eminem drops new freestyle referencing Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber. Well, it looks like he's back to his dissing of pop stars.
Oh, wow.
This is live, people. This just dropped, apparently, as we've been recording. I'm surprised Jay hasn't stopped the podcast to listen to this new track that dropped.
I have the wrong headphones in my ears.
Might have to premiere it later. Anyways, so we talked about Biggest Troll.
There you go. Machine Gun Kelly and Little Zane, no?
Little Xan Forge Troublemakers Alliance. What? What the fuck is that?
So much garbage.
Yeah, anyways, get that shit out of here. So we're going to move on to the next topic here. So Biggest Troll in hip-hop, in my opinion, all 6ix9ine, you're a great fucking troll, but you gotta bow to the real king of New York, fucking 50. From back in the day, 50 is still the biggest troll in hip hop, in my opinion, at this point. So Jay, I posed this question to you prior to this podcast about a week or two ago, and this is the big one, bro. Put your phone away because I don't think you're ready for this one. You had no. Who do you think had the best transition out of pop music?
Out of pop music, as becoming whoever they are today.
Yeah, whatever. They could have went into another genre completely. They could have went to acting. Who made the? Because
they have fell off the face of the earth. I mean, there's
that would be a bad transition out.
Yeah. It's still a transition.
Who do you think transitioned out of their pop image the best? I guess that's a whole entirely different question because in pop's a wide range. Like some people could say Eminem's a pop star because he's a big star, like he's an idol of sorts. So, but who do you think transitioned out of pop music
and became famous? Let's see. I would think, like you said, somebody that has the same initials as myself, Mr. Justin Timberlake.
That was my. Yeah, so I did tell you that. So that for me, I think he made one of the.
That to me one time.
Yeah, he made one of the best transitions in my opinion.
And he was one of those artists that I was going to say was going to be one of the hardest to fucking find music on the internet for. And I'll be honest to everybody out there. I download Justin Timberlake music. I like it.
Oh, I like his albums. I didn't like that last Man of the Woods one. It's different. I didn't dig it. I like the more.
That's what happens. Nobody. I mean, he always goes with. He always is changing up himself. He's changing up who he is. He's still staying, true to himself.
He's still married. That's true.
He's still close with his family. He's close with his mom, right?
I think that had a definite influence on him for this album, though. I think that's why it's not what I was looking for.
No, it was probably.
I guess he's getting older now. He's kind of the sexy JT, like, you know what I mean? It's kind of gone now, right? Yeah.
Sexy JT. But yeah.
Right. Still fucking calls you.
I call myself.
Yeah. Anyways, go on.
But yeah, he does. He's done himself good, and as we all get older, everybody's changing. It's like even us as people, man. And I think it affects the way we listen to music nowadays too. We might have a different perspective than we would have had 10 years ago on whatever is coming out these days.
Yeah,
we might have thought of it just as stupid as these kids now, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think he matured. I think he went to a completely different. Like he was branded as being in a boy band, and then he broke out of the boy band, had the biggest and the only success out of that boy band because he actually had the most talent. He hooked up with Timbaland, a fucking hip-hop producer. He made a few fucking very solid albums. And then he fucking started acting. So, and he was in arguably some pretty good movies. I think he had some good roles. I mean, you ever see that Alpha Dog? That was a fucking good film I thought he was in back in the day. And
you can also say,
he was in Social Network.
Social Network,
yeah.
You could say 50 Cent too as well. I mean, he also transitioned to everything, man. I mean,
are we going to brand him as a pop, as being pop?
Well, you said pop. You're saying wide variety.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
So rap. You're going everything because you know what? People are starting to brand. They're starting to use rap in that same genre now.
Right.
Right. It's just they're using hip hop. I think as it's just a whole. I don't even know if it's going to be pop anymore. I think it's going to be just more of a hip hop is the whole genre one day. Like it's just.
Well, I think it's the most popular genre of music right now. Yeah.
So, I mean,
because of touring.
For him to transition out of that into the stuff he's doing now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gone from wearing...
Yeah, it's a good argument, actually, because he's...
wife beaters to wearing suits that cost more than... houses.
He had a lot of success in movies. He's directing and doing Power, his show that he
still has enough time to control everybody on the internet.
Right. And he's fucking enjoying. He's living the hell out of his life. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good. I didn't think of him actually. That's a good point.
He made a lot of money.
Yeah.
From somebody who's been just sitting, as like they said, apparently selling drugs, and he's in jail for the longest time. But and
I wouldn't consider Jay-Z pop.
And who brought him? And who found him? And it's just, if you can remind me about who found 50 Cent, then maybe we can.
He was well known before that whole fucking thing, and then picked him up.
It's just, but you got to remember who made who, right?
It's not like M was in the fucking streets and he heard a 50 Cent. He's like, I gotta sign this fucking guy.
You're in there, right? Like, it's like any of these guys. They don't know. A lot of these guys find good rappers because they're already in the industry, right?
Right.
So they start bringing on new people, new stuff like that.
Right.
But, and
50 found M. That's what happened.
You think so?
Yes. 50 had chances to sign to other big labels at that time, but he chose to go there.
Yeah, because look at where M was going, but with Dr. Dre.
But he left New York. Like, that's a big deal back then for New York artists. Like, he left...
Yeah, but he went and promoted New York music.
He dissed everybody in fucking music with How to Rob.
It was still his songs. It was still his music from there.
Sure, but at that time, he separated himself from the competition by putting out How to Rob, where he insulted everybody. And then at Summer Jam, Jay came out and put him on the big screen and fucking, who the fuck is 50 Cent? And that was the biggest fucking moment ever for him at that time.
But you see, it just helps him promote.
I'm all about $1. Who the fuck is 50 Cent? Was what Jay-Z said.
It all helps them promote themselves.
Right.
And it helps them become great artists and big artists. Right?
Oh, 50 loved it.
Right.
I watched him talk about it one time on something, this beef documentary thing, and he talked about it. He's like, I was huge after that. He's like, I fucking loved it. Like, he's like, he put me on the fucking big screen. Summer Jam, that was a big thing back in the day, right? So anyways.
That movie too, remember that...
Get Rich or Die Trying.
Which wasn't that filmed up in Barrie? Didn't they have? I think some of it was at Wasaga Beach, man.
Yeah.
They had that strip of Wasaga Beach that it was filmed at. It was pretty weird, yeah.
So the next question I got for you, the hard-hitting fucking questions as we move along here, bro. I hope you put some time on this list, because I did not to compile this list. A big question when everyone talks about hip hop, between hip hop heads, if you will, or big fans of the genre, is the top 5 dead or alive question.
Oh, see, this is another one. This was a hard one.
Yeah,
I had a hard time thinking about this one. This one was one of those ones that,
for the sake of the matter, this won't be a definitive list, and we can actually use this as part of our checker stats segment next time and revisit it, because at this point, this is what's nice about that. It'll give us a little bit of time to throw out some names right now and think on it instead of finalizing it at this moment. So, in no particular order, do you want to start, or shall I?
You know what? You can go ahead, but I'm stick to mostly the old school guys. I mean, I like some of the new guys. So if you want,
don't do the big cop out where you're like Pac, Biggie. You're gonna do that? If you really think that?
No, but you know what? How much really? I mean, okay, they put out some music, but they eventually stopped. Who knows if they would have even been good nowadays?
Not only that, you have to consider the criteria that you're going to be using to make this, because everyone has different criteria. You could be like, who made the biggest impact? Whose music did I like the most? You know what I mean? Like, If
I say who's going to do the biggest, who made the biggest impact?
You got to say Pac and Big, right?
No, but I mean, even for me, dude, not even that far back, bro. I told you, man, I don't have to go that far back for a lot of my music.
Okay, so go. Give me your top 5.
Music. I mean, they're great to have. I don't know if you want dead or alive. Yeah, I would have to put them in there because they're in there as
okay. So Pac,
right? Let's say
Big.
I would. You know what? I like Biggie better. I don't think he came out with enough music.
Yeah.
I think if he had come
see,
out
Pac
with
doesn't even make my top 5. No.
See, but I think if Biggie would have came out with more music, that's
sure.
what I'm saying. I don't know if Pac would have made mine, but I'm just saying. I know Biggie I like, but just from the little bit of music that I heard. Who knows if he would have been any better than he got to. You know
but the fucking amount of music he put out is amazing. You know what I mean? It wasn't much, but the stuff that he put out, I think he would have kept rolling, man. He was a Diddy at that time. He would have, yeah.
I mean, but you could still dig around, and I bet you find lyrics from Tupac that you've never heard before. He's another one.
Still has unreleased music, yeah.
He's like a little wave.
Fucking Vault.
Just got music, that just sits there at home and raps to himself.
Here's the thing with Pac. He's a storyteller.
Yeah. I said rap. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
You didn't catch that. I was wondering if anybody out there caught that one. They're quicker than Nico.
No, he was a storyteller. That's the thing. Pac wasn't necessarily the best lyricist or the best rapper, in my opinion.
Just rhymed it. I think it just rhymed, and he made it performance.
That's what I mean. So for me, he wouldn't make it in my top 5. He was a good storyteller. He was more of an icon.
He was, he was coming at it from a different point of view, from a point of, I guess slavery point of, Black Panther sort of style view back then from his from mother and influencing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you really get into it,
I'll start.
But go ahead.
Nas, definitely for me.
I'm not a big fan. So now,
for me, I have to say Nas.
I know he's made some great music out there in the time. But I'm not a fan.
Another guy who's a big storyteller, though, and for me, like in terms of like those type of songs, like he really set the bar for like storytelling tracks and just like his concept albums and just like and I've always liked. Even like the philosophical, like kind of the shit that he gets deep on, like his thoughts on things. I have to put him in top 5 because when I first started listening to the rap when I was younger, like he really made an impact. Some of the stuff I listened to him. Nowadays, not so much. He hasn't really put out stuff I've really enjoyed, but I have to say, I mean, if anything, if he gets nudged out of my top 5 as I go, it's going to be like a 6 or 7. You know what I mean? So I'm going to put him out in there right now. Okay, next I would say M, obviously.
Yeah.
M, obviously, hit just to the perfect point in my life at that time. Yeah. So I have to put M, of course, in there. And he's still one of my favorite rappers to this day. I mean, he's just like I can go on, but not to get into that. And as you can, so M, of course, is in there for me. Who else? See, it's a hard one. I mean, at one point, I would say Lil Wayne. Do I still think that? I don't know.
It depends. I think he's just making mumbo jumbo now. I mean, this is you might have a good. A lot of the beats that come out, the music in the background that catches my ear more than his actual lyrics. Because his lyrics, I mean, they're just, he's just rhyming things together. I mean, it makes sense. Don't get me wrong. But he's just putting it together now.
Yeah,
I think he's just got a lot of time on his hands.
I don't know. I might revisit that. So I might revisit that. I'm going to put that to the side for now. Biggie, I have to say Biggie as well.
Yeah,
I have to for the amount of music he did put out. Again, like one of my favorite rappers, like ever.
Yeah, I mean, he's not gonna, and it's just, and it's not. I'm not saying it because he's dead or because he's alive. I just think that for the little bit amount of music that he's put out, and you're talking about people that have kind of influenced us and
right,
greatest that we think of all times, and we don't have to think. It's hard to think of anybody new because, I mean, I try to think of somebody new.
Well, I have some names for new people. For me, J. Cole is huge. Like I could,
big fan of J. Cole.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Kendrick is really fucking good.
He's good. I like Kendrick. I mean, I don't know if I put him up there.
No, I would put J. Cole before I put him if I was going to. I mean, I love The Game. I thought he was great. I still think he's great. I'm trying to think here. It's hard. It's a hard question. I mean, it could change on any specific day. Like for me, I would put, like, it sounds weird to put him alongside these other fucking names, but like I said, I would put Bud in there too because I've liked his music.
Like you said, because it came into an influential time in your life. I mean, that's the whole. When you're asking what your favorite rappers are, it's not. You gotta remember, try not to base it on
who's the best. Who do you enjoy? Yeah.
Who's the best and who's making the most?
And that's the thing.
Who people think the best are.
If that was the case, I'd like to put I would put 50 there, but I would rather put like Banks over 50, like all of G Unit really for me was huge at that time.
G Unit at that time for me was huge too.
Yeah,
50 because when we were younger and we're partying up, that's what we were listening to, and that's the stuff that got to us. You know what I mean? That's the stuff that we were listening to. That's the stuff that we grew up on. I'm not saying that there's not anybody nowadays that.
Yeah,
not anybody that's been impressing me enough lately. I mean, there's a few.
Again, I'm going to revisit it, but I'm going to throw out the fifth name I'm going to throw out there, so I'll put Bud in there. M. I'll put what did I say, Biggie, Nas, and just because I'll throw him in there for now. Never huge on his music really when I first back in the day listening to hip hop, but over the years I've learned to appreciate his stuff much more. I have to put Jay in there. I have to put Jay-Z.
Well, Jay-Z's great, man.
No, I know he's great, but again, I was never
lyrically. No, like I said, if he can come out with something bigger than his love songs with his wife now. That whole that going on. I mean, it sells. Don't worry.
Could he make an argument for Drake?
Drake, I can at this time right now, he could probably.
You know what?
The number one.
You know what? I'll take out Budden and I put in Drake right now.
Because
he
you know what? And you know why you can understand it too? Because it's our hometown.
That's what I mean. So yeah, so there you go. So there's my top 5. Right now, I'm gonna revisit this next episode, guys. I'm gonna give it some more thought. But for right now, I'm gonna say Drake, Jay-Z, Biggie, M, and Nas. So there you go. So you got people that are dead, people that are current, and people that are just legends from back in the day right there. So yeah, that's my 5. So how about you, Jay? Do you have a 5 that you want to throw in there?
We're not that old, so we don't get legends. When we're saying legends from back in the day, we're not visiting people from
but people like Jay-Z and Nas have been here 20 years.
You want to go to the 70s and you want to get where everybody got started from.
What am I going to say?
Get some
Cool Mo D, fucking... I'm not going to bust that out.
Sugar Hill Gang.
Beastie Boys. I'm not going to get the fuck out of here. What are we going to say, fucking...
But no,
Big Daddy Kane. You think I'm going to fucking say something like that? No, I'm not a big hip-hop head like that.
Well, you know what?
People would say LL Cool,
you'll find these
Ice
rappers,
Cube,
these rappers
NWA.
Probably that you said,
right?
Probably have a lot of guys like that because.
Oh, absolutely. That's how they learned to.
And that was their thing. I mean, we didn't get that deep into it back in the day. We were younger still.
I'm not even that type of hip hop. That's old school hip hop fan though. I am not that. I can appreciate it. Yeah, I can appreciate it, but I didn't grow up around it, so it means nothing to me, right?
You can dig where it's grown up from,
right?
Where it's come up from, but until that point, what I'm thinking of from when I
Public Enemy and stuff like that.
To put music on in my car, or when I was able to actually get away and listen to my headphones and whatever with real music. That's what I'm talking about when I say guys that I like from that time. And I mean, I could probably, of course, you know where I'm going. I'm going to say Eminem on that one because that's very been influential with me. I don't care what anybody says. I'll argue that to the day I'm dead, but. It's always come up, and there's always been a new album in a time of my life when I've needed it. And you know what? It's been great. So I take it for what it's worth. I mean, I don't relate to everything, but that's
so. Ed is your first one. Bold move, Jay.
I don't care what anybody says, man.
No, I'm just fucking with you.
That's
so Biggie.
I think Biggie, man, would be my next one because I like some of his stuff.
Okay.
You know what? And
is Pac still there?
You want me to go rappers or you
rap?
You want me to rap? You don't care. You don't care. Like if are you classifying as?
Don't you fucking put him in there? I swear to God. What are you gonna put in there?
I'm just thinking. What do you?
Bruno fucking Mars. Sting.
Those guys are great. Yeah, but you want to go hip hop.
Hip hop. Yeah. So you can put in there.
You want to go? Yeah.
You tell me. What do you want to put in there?
You know what? For the amount of music he put out, man, at that time too, when unfortunately my favorite rapper decided to disappear for a little while, MGK, man, I liked his music, I really did.
Really, top 5.
Right. You know what? At that time of my life, yeah, man,
he was great when he first came out. Yeah,
music, when I didn't have music, you know what?
Take a rap.
They for people that didn't have the money and were sticking low profile with everything and low income. They did a pretty good job.
All I'm going to say is writing this name in this list looks crazy right now.
You can have it there. It can look as crazy as you want.
Yeah. I'll give you a chance to revisit it next week, next episode. All right. MGK. So Biggie, MGK. Next.
Who else, man, have I got to listen to that?
Pac? You still putting Pac in here, or no? You're going to put it aside for now?
Well,
Wayne?
We can put that as a dead person, Let's keep that.
This is dead or alive right now.
I know. But
Biggie's already in here.
I'm trying to, you know. You sure he's still dead?
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that look like him out there, man.
Is that him over there?
That's a big fat guy. Now. Look at him down the street. I
Yeah.
got him.
His name was Gravy.
Yeah.
There was a guy rapper shot himself back in the
I used to
day.
have a guy at school that I went to look like him too, but no, I'm not that big of a fan of Nas, like you said.
Okay.
You know,
Fair.
I've listened to an album or so.
Yeah.
You know, two maybe.
An album or so.
You know, because once I don't get, if I don't get into it, if it doesn't catch me right away.
That's what M's Infinite was. That was his style at that time. He was copying Nas.
You know, I know that's why, and I didn't like it.
Right.
I wasn't a big
that was a bad album. Yeah.
That wasn't for me,
It's interesting just to
see the progress.
to see it. Yeah. But as an album, yeah, it was okay. There was actually
Can I have a group of people in there, like when it's like NWA,
like Wu-Tang or something.
NWA.
Okay, I'll count that.
You
Yep,
count that
yeah,
for me?
NWA.
And it gives me quite a few of them, right?
Ooh, I forgot about Wu-Tang.
You know, I mean, that's another one I grew up on too, and I would like to put them in there, but
You can. You have one more choice right now.
I only know them as Wu-Tang.
I like that you put NWA because not only you have Cube, you have Dre in there too, which is actually pretty awesome.
But
How about
that's
Snoop?
why I thought about it. I thought Snoop was there, but that's why I wanted to put because I wanted to kind of cheat.
Yeah, I like that.
And something like that in there because at first I thought.
Right.
I did think I was thinking R&B like you did think.
Right.
And you knew I was going that way.
Right.
And I said, you know what, let me see if I can
if you were going to put Dre in there, I wouldn't argue with you because he had The Chronic, he had Chronic 2001.
Yeah.
Two fucking solid albums. So, even based off that.
Aftermath was garbage. I mean, there's some other ones.
That was Chronic 2001.
No, the other one, oh, fuck, man.
Oh, the M one that they put out?
Oh, man, way before that, man. Before Eminem time.
That one's not as good. That one was a slip. That was like probably Dre's only slip. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yes,
and
presents the aftermath.
I say individual rappers back then. I will say Busta Rhymes.
I love Busta Rhymes. Good choice. You gonna put it? Is that your fifth? Good fucking choice.
He was really good at
I can't argue that.
His prime, man, he was top notch, man.
I can't argue that. And creative.
Yes, very creative. Very creative.
His videos were always great. Yeah.
There's another guy that kind of reminds me of him is Chamillionaire. And he was,
I like Chamillionaire, yeah.
He was creative.
Yes.
He had a lot of mixtapes. That's another guy that came out with.
And he also didn't swear, which I thought was very unique, which is very
which was different at the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, people.
Is Will Smith going to make your top five? Is it?
Mostly, yeah.
Hey, Will Smith had some good tunes, bro.
He's got some good tunes for TV and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
If you like that, if you have a stereo in your car and like that, I don't know anybody who has that anymore except somebody like only me.
Yeah.
That's the only person when you pull up in a car with a hole in the bumper and you still put music out louder than the Mercedes next to you or the BMW beside you.
Yeah.
Right? And they try to get that music out, but it just doesn't want to come. But
listen, Miami is still my favorite song to hear at a strip club. Miami at a strip club. Have you ever been to a strip club and you fucking hear Miami? Come on, bro.
I've never heard of a strip club.
Oh, you need to hear it at a strip club. I could take you to a strip club and hear that fucking song, bro. That song fucking is the what's that?
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it is one of the best strip club songs. Miami.
I can only imagine.
Anyways, yeah. So, that being said, we've given our top 5 dead or alive here, and we can revisit that, if it's not final. Once again, yours was M, Biggie, MGK, NWA, and Busta Rhymes, and mine was... You got
Drake, Jay-Z, Biggie, M, and Nas.
All right, so we'll revisit that and see if our opinions have changed over the next couple of weeks or not. And then very quickly, another thing I kind of want to revisit again in the new year once the year is actually over, because every fucking week there's like a shitload of albums that have been coming out in this fourth quarter. is albums of the year. So I just want to throw out a few.
Too early, no?
It is a little too early, but it is always something that's on everyone's mind at this time, and that is actually probably one of the subjects I'm going to propose to you that we talk about once the new year hits, is the the lists of best of the year type shit that we can kind of get into and maybe make it a main topic, because that's always.
Well, you never know.
Yeah,
there might be somebody coming and dropping a fucking
right.
new album soon. Like they're still waiting,
So I'll throw out some things that are in the running for me for probably best album of the year that and admittingly, that's why I said I haven't actually given a lot of listens, a lot of time to some of these albums. So one thing you mentioned earlier that I would love for it to drop and has potential for me to be album of the year if he drops something fucking really good would be the Joyner Lucas album if it actually ever comes out.
Thank you for introducing me to that, because I should have listened to it a long time ago. But you know what?
Eminem had to make a song with him first for you to listen, apparently.
I actually listened to that one with his phone number there.
Yes. 555, whatever, 7.
His phone number. And his.
If you guys haven't listened to Joyner Lucas, check out his debut album. I think he dropped one before that, but it wasn't as popular. So that's like.
This is Joyner or something like that, it was called, or something.
Then there was Joyner, I think it was called. Yeah, but ignore that. That's like kind of his infinite in terms of like, it had some good songs on it, but it was like whatever. But this was like his debut, like as far as I'm concerned.
If you actually, YouTube him and stuff, you can find a lot of good videos that he put out, which, you know what, must have cost quite a little bit, man. Some of those videos for some of those songs, and they were not bad at all. I just don't know. He just probably had a bad representation.
Right. Very well put together videos. Yeah. Like he kind of writes like scripts for them and everything. Like he does a good job with those. But so Joyner Lucas, if you guys haven't listened to him, check out his music. Really great up and coming lyricist, actual rapper, like
artist in general, man.
Yes.
I mean, if you think about it, if he's got any sort of contribution into these videos and to these ideas and to these thoughts of how he's putting the video together with the song, with the storyline. I mean, he's another great storyteller. And if he if you're actually into
great fucking song about suicide.
I mean, if you put that into your everyday music and you put that into your actual video and you can incorporate it, you're a great artist, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's why that first album was so good. It was a very well-rounded album, I thought, for a debut. I was like, I'm like impressive. Yeah.
You told me that he's a storyteller, and I didn't realize that each song leads into the next.
Yes.
Which kind of blew my mind
at
that time. Like I said, I mean, it came out at a good time. You made me listen to it, and I downloaded it at a good time for myself.
Yeah,
and it was really great, man.
Yeah, I mean, he talks about everything from suicide to his newborn baby, which he didn't appreciate at the time.
Yeah.
And being a father, and to being poor. Like that's what I mean. Like it was a very and as I could tell, and the main reason why I enjoyed his music so much is that he's obviously very influenced by M, and which is what got them to hook up and M to recognize him and for them to bring him on the Kamikaze album, which I'll start off by saying is in the running for me. For this Kamikaze album is everything I kind of wanted from an M album that I didn't get with Revival.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. We don't have to get into that right now, but for me, Revival, as you know, did not love it. But Kamikaze, everything I kind of wanted. It kind of gave him the fuel for the fire that he needed. It just burned.
My face light up right now going, let's see what he has to say. But no, it's the way of storytelling. Yeah, you could tell the similarities are there.
Yes.
You wouldn't even be able to tell. You wouldn't be able to tell the race. You wouldn't be able to tell anything. It's a story. That's what it's supposed to be. Music is about that. You're not supposed to see outside the box. You're supposed to see what it is, and they're storytellers, and that's the way they tell their life, and that's the way sometimes it gets influential.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what made him. I don't know why he hadn't come out a lot sooner. Maybe like we were saying, bad marketing.
Well, that's...
And you're not with big artists.
Not to veer too much off in my opinion on Joyner, but that is, I think, also his problem, though, is that
hooking up with the wrong people.
I think he's been mismanaged because he's so good at so many different things. They don't know what box to put him in. Like he
wrong categories,
right? Which is why you've seen some of the failed attempts with like the Chris Brown joint project that he wanted to put out because
not a mumble rapper either, right?
Right, he has something to say, but at the end of the day, I don't want him also to be recognized as the guy like this is a song about this. This is my PSA about this. This is my because he did. I'm not racist, which is about the race like the stuff going on. It was a good song, and he was making points. But he had the suicide song. Like if he becomes that guy that's just like I'm gonna make a song about what I mean. I don't want him to be like that either because he can rap his ass.
With you.
Yeah,
that song threw me off only because I see a white guy using the N-word.
Right, but that was what it was supposed to do.
It was him
right
at first. Okay, for
you
some
thought
reason,
the white guy was Joyner.
The white guy was using the N-word, and
because it was Joyner's voice in the video that was doing it. Yes,
yes. That song for
no, I know. I remember I sent you the video, and you're like, "What the fuck? What is this?"
And I listened to the whole song,
right?
And I actually sat there and I realized that it was from
two different perspectives. Yeah,
and the white guy was just saying what he thought in his head, and he probably would have said to his white friends. Which, unfortunately, nowadays
it's a reality of
things,
But he had his Magda hat on. That's what I mean. Like he was like a Trump guy that you saw in that video. Yes,
he would have been that hillbilly that would have been talking racist with his buddies. I'm not trying to put hillbilly in that category, but what I'm talking about,
redneck,
redneck, racist. You know what
sure.
I mean? Like,
but that's how it was supposed to be portrayed. That was
I didn't get that until I listened, and I took the time out to listen to the whole song, and the whole video,
right,
and I think that. And I only listened to that after that I listened to the album.
Right, I know you never revisited it. I remember when I sent it to you, you're like, "What the fuck is this, bro?"
Stuff, man, and I didn't take it for what it was worth when you sent it to me, and it worked out better that I did when I did listen to it.
Unfortunately, that album came out last year, so it's not in contention for best album year for me this year. The other album I really enjoyed this year that I will mention right now, it's in the running, is the even though it's only 7 songs, is the Pusha T album. I really enjoyed that. Kanye produced it. That was during his
chance to listen to that one.
Great album.
One that you've told me about. Right?
Yeah, great. Daytona. It's called Daytona, and it is 6 of the 7 songs.
Hasn't it now?
Yeah, it came out more before the summer, I believe.
Wasn't it before Scorpion?
It was before Scorpion. Scorpion, another one that I would say was in the running. Although with Scorpion, it's funny.
That threw me off. I didn't expect that one to come out until I turned the.
Well, Scorpion, the problem with Scorpion is there's so many songs on it.
Yeah, you don't know what to pick.
It's not just that. There's a lot of songs I don't love. Because there's so many songs, it weighs it down to the point where, like, Daytona, which was 7 songs, 6 of the 7 songs I like. You know what I mean? So that makes it a good... Exactly.
You're not going to narrow down 6 of 25 songs.
Right.
It was on the
right.
CD, right? Was it double disc?
It's double disc, yeah. And he had the A side and the B side. One was the R&B, one was the rap.
Yeah.
And, Drake does both well. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, just like you.
But
kind of like a song you did with rap and then
Yeah, I'm just like Drake.
Your
Stepping Stone. Yeah, well, the Stepping Stone was one of my favorite songs off Kamikaze. So those are just some. The Travis Scott album. Great fucking album. Astroworld.
Travis Scott with other people featuring Travis Scott.
He just features with everybody, yeah.
I never actually listened to that whole album. And
Astroworld, great album.
A few songs, right?
Yeah.
In there and ask me the names off the top of my head, and I probably couldn't tell you, but you start playing them, and I know what you're talking about. Right?
And I'm late to the party, but I would say I just listened to it today for the first time. Actually, this came out a couple weeks ago. This Metro Booming album, this guy, producer Metro Booming, very, very fucking solid album.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, Metro Booming, eh?
Yeah, he's a producer, and like people like Travis Scott and a bunch of Drake. Offset was on the album, like the Migo guy.
That's a question I'd like to ask you. What do you think about all these producers becoming big with their one-liners?
like like DJ Khaled's of the world and stuff. I don't like DJ Khaled that much, to be honest with you.
There's a few people that love DJ Khaled.
We the best. Well, he doesn't really do that.
He knows how to make money, man. And that's what it is. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to use other people to make money.
Well, another producer just put out an album that you might know that a couple weeks ago. Swiss Beats. Swiss Beats just put out another album. He's been rapping for a while now, right? But Swiss Beats is a big producer from back in the day, right? So
that's how he started. More producer.
Alchemist just put out another album. I don't mind the producer album. Yeah. If it has one vision, because what's nice about it is, even though they might bring a bunch of guest artists on the album, you get a mixed race, like a diverse race of different, diverse mix of race of rappers, artists, and not only that, you get one vision from a producer. So I do like the producer album. Yes, I do enjoy the producer album. That's what this Metro Boomin. It's a very fucking good album, actually. It's called Not All Heroes Wear Capes.
And he's not one of those guys with that one-liner where he's going to go and DJ Khaled.
He does, but it's like...
It's almost the only way to get yourself in the door nowadays. Unless you have something that's a catchy phrase like that as a producer. Like if you're going to be a DJ, if you're going to be a producer, if you're going to be out there, you got to have something like that.
Right.
I mean, it's just... Otherwise, you're not going to have your name known. And then once you have your name known, you're good to go. Mm-hmm. Right? And say it's like we said, DJ Khaled there. Mm-hmm. I mean, he went a little crazy with his name, and now whatever song it goes on makes a hit. And it doesn't necessarily mean that hit's coming from him. It's coming from his
brand. Yes,
it's not. It's also coming from his artists. His artists are the ones that are making the songs.
Yeah,
I mean, really. You think he's making the ones that Justin Bieber made?
Well, the big song that he had last year was that Wild Thoughts song. That was on his album. But that was a huge fucking song. No, but I know that's her song. But it was associated with Khaled because he was... That's what I mean.
That's where his name started.
Yeah.
And I have the guy that a buddy Tyrone that does my hair.
Okay.
My so-called hair.
Yes, your lack thereof. Yeah.
But you know what? He's he likes to do clubs, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So he does a lot of sound clashes and he does reggae and stuff like that. And he's really good at what he does.
Like dance hall shit.
And it's all positive vibes. It's nothing, you don't hear swearing, you don't hear nothing in the stuff that I listen to.
Right.
But I kept telling him, and I said,
all the West Indian things going.
The only way, but he's Jamaican hardcore.
Oh, he's Jamaican, okay.
You can't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to understand him, but it's a great time.
Going
to shit with him.
Sure.
But I'll tell you right now, and I said to him, unless he starts to come up with a one-liner, he's not going to get it as big as he is now.
He needs something to shout out while he's playing music. Yes.
Yes. He wins that, But if he doesn't want to do barber anymore, he just wants to be a producer, a music, a DJ.
He needs to take that extra step.
He needs to take that extra step, and he needs to think of something how to market himself the right way.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree with you.
It's brainwashing, man.
It's true.
I'm gonna talk about marketing a lot in everything that we talk about, because you know what, I believe that it has a lot to do with everything, and a lot to do with what they've studied over us over the last few years and growing up.
It's all subliminal messaging. Yeah,
that's it, man.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I'm reading this.
There's a topic for you. You can make that the main topic one day, if you really want.
I'll tell you, I've been reading a book that talks about subliminal stuff that's subconscious in your brain that makes you do things before you even think about it.
Right.
Like it makes you, and it can either make you or break you. Mm-hmm. Right. And you don't even realize your brain works 10 seconds before you do. That's why music's like that.
Right. So just quickly to wrap up what we're talking about, do you have any albums other than Kamikaze that you're going to throw out there for consideration so far this year? Or we're going to revisit this, but anything that's on your mind right now in terms of newer albums that come out?
That one's going to...
Kamikaze, of course, yeah. Did Revival come out this year, or was it the end of last year?
I think Revival...
End of last year, right? I think it was just in the cusp of 2017.
2017 wasn't a good...
Like it was like November or December.
It was 100%. But I mean, I told you, I liked Revival. I don't care what anybody says.
Sure.
I liked it, and they can argue me how they want.
Right. But anything else, I
just think it was a different side of him that people haven't seen in a long time, if ever. Right? But
a side I'd rather not see again. But
no, most people wouldn't, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. But other than that, I can't think of an album that I really enjoyed, man.
That you've listened to as much this year.
I can say I actually like that. An album that came out this year.
How about the Kanye album? You like that one?
Which one? With the 5 tracks?
Yeah, the fucking 7-track one.
Which one? With the
I'm bipolar one,
that
yeah.
One was fucking
you like
hilarious,
that album, yeah.
You
That's
know
what I mean.
I don't care. Kanye's funny, man. He's a funny guy when he wants to rap.
I don't know.
He's retarded, but he's funny. I don't mean retarded in a bad way.
He's
guys.
retarded.
Yeah, but, I'm telling you right now, man.
He's fucked.
He's a little bit messed up, and
I think this whole bipolar thing is just his excuse, to be honest.
You know what?
Yeah,
he might be a little bit. He took a nice shot.
He's always been weird. He's always been kind of crazy. So yeah.
I mean, that's a crazy thing.
Okay. No. What the fuck was that? MG Binge? That's not a good album. You know it wasn't good. How about Lil Wayne's?
I was waiting for it.
The Dedication. He dropped an album this year. That was great. I don't think it's his best, but Lil Wayne.
No, he's done
way better.
Not just albums, but even mixtapes. I guess we were talking about.
But that Wayne album, the new Dedication, it was decent.
It was decent.
Yeah.
You know what? But I think there's better. He's had better.
Sure.
I think his was more dedicated. This one was like a mom sort of thing. You know, so I think it was more of a mother thing. And he was trying to talk, and she was kind of appreciative a lot about a lot of things.
Did you hear Royce's album this year?
No, I didn't hear it.
That was good. Book of Ryan. That was actually I would probably
even. No, I've heard a few.
Very good.
Tracks, right?
For a Royce album, it was actually probably one of his best.
That's quick. Yeah, maybe I hadn't listened to it good enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, I get into
J.
records.
Cole dropped an album.
I get into records, and I really kind of try to tear
Kids on Drugs. You don't listen to J. Cole though.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. Unfortunately.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
That's
That's
pretty much.
All right, we'll revisit that though. But at least we talked about it a bit here. Okay, and then probably the last big topic of the night here, before we just kind of go into some brief news, hip hop related stuff, is the current state of the return of rap beef.
Hey, everybody fighting out there.
Fucking love it, bro. That's it's my favorite. It's my favorite in terms of the genre of rap music. Like for me, rap beef, as long as it stays in the music, I love it.
Exactly, it's got to stay in the music.
Yeah.
Right? And if it stays in the music, and if it stays on what it is and what it's worth, then you know what?
Right.
We'll leave it as the way it should be.
Yeah.
Because honestly, people take it a little bit too seriously.
It's a competitive sport, though, bro. Like this is like it is. Like I enjoy.
It's in the industry, not a sport, and it's not a sport. And it's
I know it's not a sport, but they treat it as such when they kind of do it back and forth. Like you know what I mean?
Like that, yeah.
Back when Lil Wayne announced that he was the best rapper alive, he started that shit at that time. No one gave him that title. And he explained that on that one of those Dedication mixtapes. He's like, the only reason I say that is because it's a competitive fucking genre. Like this is competitive.
You know what?
I'm gonna say I'm the best rapper alive, and if I say it, it's because I think it, because I'm the best rapper alive. It doesn't matter if I am the best rapper alive. I'm gonna say I'm the best rapper alive.
Everybody does think they're the best rapper alive, right? But to really be the best rapper alive, you got to prove yourself. I mean,
show and prove, which is why I like the competitiveness of beef tracks, diss tracks.
If he wants to come to the most dedicated out there, on putting music out and stuff like that, I think he probably is one of the best when it comes to that.
With that being said, jump into the most recent beef.
Which one?
Joyner Lucas versus Tory Lanez of Toronto.
That's
Brampton.
About that. Yeah, Brampton. Yeah, he's got to figure it's from the B-town.
So,
Brampton.
So this is probably the most recent one that we're going to mention actually right now. This is, like we said, we were talking about Joyner Lucas earlier.
I can't complain, but I grew up there in Brampton a little bit for a bit. So if anything, I'm from Brampton a little bit, but mostly Toronto. So
right.
I moved out of there just in time.
So Tory Lanez, previously, I mean, he's been on the come up the last couple of years. Obviously is known as a Toronto rapper, but he's like again
R&B artist.
Right. I was about to say, he's in the same vein as Drake, and Drake and him had a problem for a while as well, for quite a while, until this recent past year they made up. It was one of those things where, again, it was like the whole, just, them both being from the same place, a lot of people comparing the two. I think it kind of just started an issue since back in the day between the two, and obviously Drake blew up, and he did not. Exactly. And that was like one of the, at first, but now he's making his way. Anyways.
And he's trying to transition. I don't know, I don't mind his style.
He dropped an album recently too.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. His I know a few people that have been to a concert that he's been to.
Okay.
kind of crazy. It's like going to one of our that old MGK concert.
Yes.
It gets a little bit nuts in there,
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I can.
If you're one of the only white guys in there, you gotta kind of be careful when you're walking in.
Sure.
You know, but it was apparently it was a crazy experience. The concert was great, but I'll tell you right now, I think his new style of rapping, if he can just get it to his points across better, I think he got a great potential, man. He's
right.
You know, even from being from Ontario, regardless, I'm going to say Ontario. We're not going to use
right.
Toronto.
Okay.
Ontario,
yeah.
So it keeps everybody civil.
Okay.
And then, I think we're on the map. It doesn't make a difference.
Oh, absolutely.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Like, I mean,
Belly.
Yeah.
That was a good. I think that was last year though. Yeah.
The
Weekend. Fuck yeah.
We got so many big
Tory.
artists here now. Bieber came from Ontario.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's starting from back in the day. If you want to go as far back as Shania Twain and further, even further. But I mean, we've always been.
Sure.
It's just never been.
Chuck Clare.
And it's never been as hot and you know successful as it is nowadays. Right?
Nelly Furtado.
Well, we got how many 4 million strong in the city?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's easier to get into something when you're that many people.
Sure.
We were never as big before, right? So I remember going from what do we say?
Cardinal Official.
East Coast, West Coast, South, and then now up here.
Right.
And now Toronto's we're on the map, right?
Even battle rap is big here too.
Well, that's the thing too, right?
Yeah.
And they had come out with that
King of the Dot.
I've been trying to watch that battle, Bodied, isn't it Bodied?
It's not. Yeah, it's the video that M helped produce or something. Bodied. It's now on like Amazon or something like that.
Trying to look for it, man. Like they have everything free download, but certain ones, like we were talking about, certain artists are harder to find than other stuff, right?
M is going to be one of those type of people.
I've been trying to find this actual movie to see what it was about because of the battle rapping, right? Just to see what it was about. But with the whole beef with that Tory Lanez and stuff, I mean, I liked the songs. I thought Joyner was more quiet and to the point. Like, you know what I mean? He didn't have to get into as many words to get his point across. Mm-hmm. Tory went off. Right. He really did really go off on everybody. I mean, he made some good pointers too. But I mean, he's really fast. I mean,
so who do you think won at this point?
I don't think there was. I to be honest with you, I think they're equal. I think right now I got to hear some more stuff. I mean, they came out both, and those ones were all quick at the top of their
Let's
head.
mention that for some context for the people. We didn't really mention it. We kind of glossed over it. So so basically, something started online where Tory, I guess, promoting his new album when I guess it came out or talking about it on an Instagram live stream. Somebody, I guess, mentioned in the comments to him, had mentioned something about what he thought about Joyner Lucas. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, that kid's nice, but he's not on my level. I'm way better. Like, he basically said he can't touch me. Yeah. So then Joyner, I guess, got hold of this, heard about this, and Joyner has been doing this for a while now. He's been kind of trying to get somebody to start something with him.
They all know each other too. I mean, I think they all.
This is not a real beef, by the way. No, this was.
They relatively.
I don't know if they know each other, but they know of each other. And this was not like a street type beef. This was more of like Joyner reaching out to him and saying, hey, listen, like, if that's the case, let's both release a song on the same beat and see who does a better job. Yeah. Like, he threw the gauntlet out and fucking said, all right, if that's the case, think you're nicer than me, let's do this then. Which was great. I want to see more of that. Like I want to see, like, I love, because guess what? As fans, we win. Like, we're the ones that won from this situation, from getting all this new music out of this situation. Like, it's not, it's
great music out of it.
Right. I don't really care who won at the end of the day, because we got 4 new fucking songs back and forth from these two guys, artists that I enjoy. Yeah. But that being said, Tory responded in part. He came out with a song. Then Joyner came out with a song, all within the span of a day, mind you. And then fucking Tory came out with the next song, I think, in between that other, within the day. Yeah. And then Joyner took a whole day, it seems like, towards the end of that day, after he brought out the second song and responded. Now, for me, that first fucking song, Joyner smoked him. he's the better lyricist. That's what I mean. Like Tory is, again, like you said, he's more known for like the R&B stuff too. At this point, like I know the guy can rap, but not on the Joyner level. Joyner can fucking put words together and rap faster than fucking Tory any day of the week.
And you're right about that first one being crazy. That first one that I think you won, right? I think the second one, you got to remember, man, these guys.
That second one though, Tory smoked him back. Tory, for me, that second fucking song, and not only that, Joyner, it was kind of weak. Like, it was kind of like, he lost me halfway through the song. Like, he tried to do some concept thing where he was explaining his bars, and like, you never fucking explain your bars in a song. I don't need to, that's a no. That, he should have known better not to do that. You don't, he was talking about his father. Like, you never fucking, because no one has context to some of the things he was saying, he was trying to explain himself. You don't do that.
He's trying to, nobody knows really about him.
Right.
Unless you've been YouTubing him and
right.
stuff like that, right? So
but you don't do that. Like, I'd rather you fucking make fun. And then halfway through the song, he started talking to Tory like he's his son. And he had like a little kid fucking talking to him in the song. That threw me, bro. I was like, you know what? Like, I don't...
Well, Tory mentioned something in that first song, too, but about
he called him his son. Like, you're my son to me. Like,
he was trying to bring it back to him, but he's not.
I'm sorry. That's that Joyner concept shit. Don't need that. I'm not coming there for that. I'm not coming. This isn't a Joyner concept record. This is you responding to him dissing your ass off. Yeah. Very well for fucking 3 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
They went off for a few minutes, right? I mean, it wasn't a short
That's the thing. The second song, Tory fucking stepped it up 2 times, bro. Like, he rapped fucking as fast as Joyner, and the rhymes were there too. Like, it was that second fucking song.
That Brampton line in there.
The M line. Yeah. He's like, you still ain't got no plaques. Like, you did a fucking song with M, you still ain't got no fucking like. Is
it that first one? Was that one where he said
that was the second song? That was the second.
Where he said that he said he tried with Chris Brown.
He failed with Chris. Yeah.
So but I think
the Brampton line was good that Joyner did,
but came out with that second one to come back after, and that. Right away with that, it was a ZZ,
which is a Kodak Black song, yeah.
Right? But I mean, that one there, sometimes, you gotta remember, now Joyner's got stuff going on, so he might not have time to respond back as quickly as...
And don't fucking start it. Like, no, he ate them after the second song dropped. He expected another response, by the way.
Obviously.
And Tory didn't. Tory was like, that song was shit. Yeah. I'm not responding. Yeah. Like, that was his response to that. And then he fucking took shots at Pusha T. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear that.
So after he announced that, he's like, he went on live again and said, no, this ain't it. I ain't feeling this song to the ZZ response. Which, you know what? I agreed with him. I was like, no, that wasn't it.
That last one wasn't it.
No. And then, later that night, I think, or within the day, he then turned his attention, I guess because Pusha went at Drake, to said, oh, I want to take on you now, Pusha. Fucking you come at me. Like, and so he put out the challenge for him. He got a little full of himself because he just dropped an album too. Yeah. That's the thing. Tory just dropped his album. Like, this is just right after his album dropped that he started this. Joyner was promoting an album, still hasn't fucking dropped it, which is, again, like, this is the time to drop it. Right.
ADHD.
Right.
Maybe it's
Maybe. He's smart like that. But I think he's a little too smart. That's what I mean. Like, that response was not what I was looking for.
Maybe they want it to be perfect, right?
So round 1 for me goes to Joyner. Round 2 goes to Tory.
Yeah.
And that being said, if no one drops a third song, you're right.
You're the same way. It's just they both went hard, man. They both.
Yeah.
And I think the story in the second.
They're both hungry.
Song, of course.
That's what I mean.
Everybody wants food, man. I mean, they're saying in half their song. Well, they're saying in a lot of the first bits of their songs are coming out that they're hungry. Save some food for me. Most of them. You can get into the which one you want to get into. You want to get into Eminem and MGK beef.
Yes.
Right? There you go.
There you go.
There. I mean, you're not as big as them yet. You can't just say, I'm going to do it once right, and that's it, man. And then make him cut his man bun off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I honestly, I think that beef there was fun, right? It was awesome to actually to talk about, like to get into with me and you.
Oh yeah, not just with me and you. People came out of the woodworks that like
out of nowhere.
Yeah, that love it.
Right, and that the first one on the Kamikaze album.
Yes.
Kind of started it all.
Right.
Right? Which, I think if MGK would have just took his time, wrote it properly, I think he would have came up with a better diss track.
I liked his...
I mean, don't get me wrong, for somebody who came up with it overnight, basically.
Right.
It was good. And, you could tell he was doing it in the middle of, he was on tour, man. He must have been on tour. He was just doing it quick.
Right.
And he came up with anything he could think of to come back, right?
I know, Beard's weird, fucking...
he's eating cereal while he's friggin'...
right.
He's eating his cereal.
But do you see the video of him popping the champagne after M dissed him?
Yeah,
he's
they're
like,
all happy, man.
Yeah.
They finally said his name, man.
Yes.
They finally said... Eminem finally said half these guys' names.
So this all started years ago because he mentioned something about Haley.
Daughter, yeah.
Right.
And it was nothing crazy. I mean, it was just... They're both the same age, really, if you think about it. I mean, there's nothing...
Right. He called her hot.
Nothing to take the wrong way.
Right.
But the media makes it go crazy.
Then, if I'm not mistaken, he criticized his album.
And then, and
like
then
a lot of
didn't
people
want him
did.
to come on.
Right.
He wouldn't let him on. They said he wouldn't let him on Shady 45. But I don't know
that's the
about
thing
that.
I didn't like, that they shared a label and they shared the same fucking producer on both of their disses.
But see, this is weird. Yeah. And this is what I don't understand.
That was kind of corny. I was like, really? Like,
it made. I guess it was just easier that way. You know what I mean? Get it all in one thing. Get it
right.
all. That could have kept it from leaking.
Right.
Right. Quick. You know what I mean? It could have kept everything all under wraps.
Right.
If it's all under one thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything's under. Most of these record labels nowadays are all under the big companies, the big Interscope, and
right.
Like the Jews, they got all the money, man. They're the ones that started this record industry, man. Jimmy Iovine's just sitting there rolling in everybody's dough.
Right.
Right?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah.
You can't even imagine the money he's making. He doesn't even care. Just start making fun of each other. He goes, as long as it sells records,
right.
I'm getting money whether you win
right.
or you. You know what
but that's the thing. Like, it seemed like so fabricated at some point. It actually took away from a little bit of the beef for me.
It did, didn't it? In the beginning,
yeah.
I felt like it was kind of, we were talking about that. It got into, like, it was like, are they doing this to sell the record? Or
right.
Not? Right. But then after, when he came back, and he came and went all off on Killshot.
Right.
And
M's response to MGK. Yeah. This is after the album shot.
He pointed out everything that he said in the album.
Killshot was a leg shot, according to MGK. You know what I mean? He was like, that was his response. He's like, that was weak, I'm not responding. That's the new move now. The new move now is like, I'm not even going to respond. Like, no, fuck you. You're not going to respond.
Being a pussy. But Eminem said at the beginning of the song,
right.
We're going to do this once and that's it. And he did it once,
man. Yeah, he's like, well, that was... remember there was...
came out with that whole album right after that.
But
right?
not only that, there was a series of videos that he did with... what the funk flex? What the fuck's his name? Sway and Tech. M released 4 videos one day after the next, about a week or so after the album dropped, and he explained some of the beefs, some of the shots he took on the album. Yeah. So he talked about the MGK thing, and he talked about the fact that I don't want to make a song to make this guy more famous than he is at this time. I'm conflicted because I don't want to put something out and him to get
bigger.
Yes.
Right.
And he expressed as such on that song, The Killshot, as well. So from that,
it wasn't like the other beefs that he had. It was
right.
It was something that they knew that wasn't
right.
really serious. It
right.
wasn't as serious as the beginning.
So that's what I mean. Like, it had no legs to begin with, in a sense, based off that. It was just like, okay, I guess I'll put out. And then about 2 days after that video aired, he put out Killshot. I believe, 2
weeks it was.
No, 2 weeks, 2 days. It was a couple days after the video aired. He actually did put out that song.
Yeah, it wasn't right away. But
no,
you know what? He takes your time. You know, remember when you're that big, he says you can't touch him. Like
right.
when you're that big, you can't. You don't have time to just sit there quickly and just write up a quick. You know, you probably have other shit to do. You know, why are you gonna take your time out of your day? I get what you're doing.
Yeah,
you're trying to come back out there.
Right.
But you just came out with Kamikaze, and if that hadn't, if you were in the middle of busy promoting that,
right,
then probably that album would have came out within 20. That song would have diss track would have came out in 24 hours.
Right.
But he made sure he pinpointed everything that he said.
Right.
He made it look good enough. I like the parts he said about calling him his son. Okay.
Right.
Okay. And you know what? What happened? I have it after Binge.
Right.
And MGK
Which was
got
a very
all hyped
subpar
up.
MGK album,
Well,
yeah.
And after he got all hyped up about everything, kept circling himself on
Right.
everything, saying that he was a top number one. I knew,
You haven't
I
heard
knew
from
it
him.
was only gonna last.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't gonna last very long.
Right.
because-
M's M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just all of a sudden,
Right.
what happened? He took it. He got a new haircut. He went and posted about getting a new haircut, which I
Right.
loved that part. You know, like I said, and I'm not
Right.
disrespecting MGK.
No, because
I like
you've
him.
already admitted on this.
I like
He's in
him.
your fucking top 5
Yeah.
right now.
You know what? But
For
you know
some
what? To
reason.
go out and post something stupid like that,
Yeah.
I just thought, you know, if you were going to rethink it,
Yeah.
you should have redid it a little better.
Right,
Now
right.
You're going to go back to focusing on making movies again. That's just a cop out.
Yeah,
I'm
but I mean,
sorry.
let's be honest. At the end of the day, they were dissing each other about their facial hair on the disc.
It was. One was about the
Beard's
beard,
weird,
and the other one was
man
about
bun,
the
yeah.
You know, like it's
And don't get me
true.
wrong, it was fun. Like
Well,
he
who
just gave
hasn't
him
man
slaps.
bun?
Eminem just gave him little fucking love taps
taps,
on
yeah,
that
come
song.
on,
Don't get me
man.
wrong,
Who
like
did
that
that,
was
man?
not.
Well,
But
because maybe he thought the same way I was thinking.
here's the
It wasn't the greatest song to
Right.
come back at. With.
Here's the thing, though, and I told you this before, and I probably still have this share the same opinion. Whether or not you enjoyed that disc, which I thought both discs were good, decent, he probably has arguably the best diss to M out of anybody who's actually ever dissed him. Because look at the other people that dissed him. Benzino, Ja Rule said one line on that song against his daughter, which is a fire fucking
There was
line.
no other real rapper that was going to diss him,
Right.
except maybe your
What?
buddy Joe Budden.
Everlast, fucking, what's his name? What was the other one?
Well, you did Everlast Whitey Ford there.
Fucking, Fred Durst.
Yeah, no,
That's what I mean. It wasn't really rappers. No, who was the Cannabis. Cannabis dissed
Nobody
him.
was real, yeah, exactly where it happened.
Yeah, nothing. Because
Cannabis,
Cannabis, no
right?
one really listened
Cannabis
to.
after.
Cannabis, yeah, Cannabis.
Right, so,
We rode to Los Angeles. Wasn't it?
but nobody ever wanted to diss him. Nobody was ever.
Bro,
stupid
he
enough
one of the
for some
fucking
reason.
maddest here of all time after Ja Rule said that one line on that song. He
Yeah.
dissed everybody. He was just like, he was bringing people on that
He
didn't
went
even.
he went off on the producers. He went off on
Yeah.
on publishers. He
Yeah,
went
yeah,
off on everybody.
yeah,
man.
yeah.
And he was waiting for them because those are the type of people that he was worried about could bring him down.
Right, but they
I
were
think-
like the stupidest people
And
that
he
he
couldn't
did.
bring them down.
But it was the stupidest people that he destroyed. Like he picked out the weakest people he could have destroyed because of what they said back then. Not
Rap,
right.
hip-hop, right?
No, that's what I
But I'm
mean.
saying,
He
like,
never
if
really
you
has
think
had a
about-
challenge. If you think about it,
the people he's actually really talking shit about, and he's really
he
trying
dissed
to get under
Diddy
his skin
on that fucking
He's
song.
yeah, that was crazy.
Not that Diddy's very lyrical, but
That
yeah,
was crazy.
that
When
was
you have that
that
kind of-
was the biggest shot about. If you want to have one takeaway from that song, that was crazy what he said about
You
the
know
whole
what,
Biggie fucking
about the
death.
Biggie?
That was
I mean,
because like he
but
said
you know
something
what?
that's been a
Yeah.
law. That's like a mystery of hip hop.
I think he even did it. This is my personal opinion. I think he did it, and he's mocking him at the end by saying,
Right.
"You know, Diddy, I still love you."
Yeah.
like he does to all the fucking
Yeah,
women,
sure.
You know?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Fucking,
I still love you. Yeah, yeah.
This is all the chicks and tells him he's gonna fucking drag him off.
Well, the other brilliant connection was the fact that he's not only that MGK is signed there. Budden is also signed there for his Revolt show, the State of Hip Hop show he does on YouTube is signed to Diddy as well, which you also took shots about his criticisms towards the album on that, right? So, anyways,
Hey,
so
I need a
M
poll.
versus MGK. I think M is the winner out of that,
MGK
right?
And that MGK and that M, yes, of course.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say no.
Because it hurt MGK's career instead of
You
helping it, I
already
think,
noticed it.
right?
I mean, like I said to you, he in other times
Yeah.
he's taking shots at Eminem's taking shots at people like producers. News writers, article writers, and stuff like that. And those are the guys that can ruin your career.
Right.
Okay. Those not such the rappers, because the rappers you could always come back and make a song.
Yeah, they're never
But
going to ruin
but
M, though.
those
M
guys-
has a name in
exactly.
this business.
And
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He
Yeah.
went after some heavy duty guys.
MGK had a lot more to lose than M did in this
But he also,
fight.
like I said, exactly. But,
Yeah.
that whole other album, he went after the media, man. The
Sure.
media can make him fall to the ground, dude. He can bring him down from that building, that Empire
Right.
State Building, and bring him to the ground. Dude.
Right.
But the media didn't do it. They couldn't
Yeah.
do it. They can't.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So just in the sake of time here, I'll throw out this one. I have really nothing to say about this because in terms of them battling on wax on fucking records, it's barely happened, and I could care less as the Nicki versus Cardi beef. These are just a bunch of. I'm sorry to downplay it like that.
Slaps and stuff.
Listen, I'm sorry to downplay it like that, folks. I don't want to say just because they're women rappers, because they're both good women rappers, very fucking popular. A lot of people would even say Cardi B had one of the best albums of the year this year. Nicki is great. They just really at this point were just bitching at each other though offline and online.
Two different types of broads, man.
That's what I mean, and I think that they just need to find a lane that they can both be in. You know what I mean? A toy just fucking almost fell off a toy just fell on JT from my bookshelf. That's Goku.
Who the hell is Goku? He doesn't even have a face.
Well, he lost it when it fell. It's on the ground. Goku just sprang off the top of this bookshelf and attacked JT, folks. When we're recording this.
Like you heard about the crap I was talking about.
Yeah, and lastly, the other big beef that happened this year, we can't not mention it, is the Drake versus Pusha T beef. Jay, did you hear all these songs between these two?
No, I haven't. That was my fault. I know. I mean,
so for years, Drake's lately in the previous most recent years is like the king of subliminal disses, and the fact that he's been dissing, Pusha and that whole crew, and Pusha's been dissing all of like Lil Wayne and that whole fucking crew, Cash Money, Birdman, all of them for years, and so is Drake. I think he dissed them on Two Birds, One Stone, where he also talked shit about Kid Cudi's mental health and Kanye's crew, which was not fucking cool. And he's dissed Kanye for a while. He subliminally dissed Kanye all over Scorpion after this whole thing happened. But the big takeaway from this was the fact that Pusha T found out that Drake had a secret son, which was not revealed yet to the world. And with that information, with that information, not only did he dedicate one of his 7 fucking songs produced by Kanye on his album to dissing Drake, he also revealed to the fucking world that little gem, Drake, the man that could do no wrong in most people's eyes. And then he released a photo online of Drake in blackface. Yes. All right? Which was from his acting days. Where he was, and Drake's black. He's mixed though, but he had like one of those old
complexion,
and totally fucking won this beef as far as I'm concerned. Drake's song against Pusha when he brought it out though was a really really fucking sick song. But Pusha had all
I know the song. I know it when I'm hearing them because I think
it was the beats that me and Jess dissed each other. Me and him both used one of was called "Story of a Didon," which is his son's name. And Pusha T ruined his whole fucking rollout because he was supposed to release a line through Reebok or something like that, or Adidas, with his son's name. And after that fucking information leaked out, he kind of took a step back and fucking. And then he busted out he did the Nike deal, and then he did the swipes over checks over fucking. He made some fucking line about picking Nike over Adidas, checks over stripes or something. Get it, money checks. Anyways, he tried to fucking, and then he released his album Scorpion, and Drake came out with a song where he's like, "I wasn't trying to hide the world from my son. I was trying to exactly. Which was a sick fucking line. I'll admit. I was like, okay, all right. He's trying to he's trying to recover here. He's scrambling a little bit here.
He's trying to cover. He's the only one that I know that.
Let's think. This was the first L that he has taken, as far as I'm concerned, Drake in the public eye. This is the first big loss.
But, I mean, some people might take it as a thing, like, you know what, it's true.
As much as it pains me to say, big loss he took with this Pusha beef.
I mean, that is a good recovery line.
It was. And they just subliminally dissed Kanye the whole
because you know what? The world, it's hard if you're a kid growing up from a famous person. It's
Sure.
gonna be hard, dude. I'm starting to wonder if always these kids are really their names, like East, North, South.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Maybe they're just making up their names just so that the media can't get a hold of them and find them anywhere and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because some of these names are just gone nuts. Like
Yeah.
Blue and
Yeah.
Ivy and all those crap.
What was fucking Blanket? Fucking Michael Jackson's.
It started out like that, eh? No, but no, I think that those, everybody's got their things with, their kids. They want to do certain things if they want to tell people about them. Yeah, he probably has a kid, unfortunately, from somebody he doesn't want to have a kid with, and it happens, man. But then you start bringing it into music, you start getting people pissed off. Then that's when you start getting to get people angry. It makes for great music, but does it make for when it's people have reality like that in real life?
Well, I just didn't like the way
to the street and stupidness.
I just didn't like the way like Drake went about it afterwards. Like the big takeaway was from the Pusha T disc. He said that OVO 40, his producer, was dying. And that he's gonna die. It's just true. He's sick. He is going to die soon. But he said that on the track, and then the conversation became more of, is there any boundaries when dissing people in rap? As far as I'm concerned, no, exactly. But was it in good taste? No. But
there's a certain time.
Right.
There's a time and place. But you know what?
Apparently, there's a track somewhere Drake said he recorded where he was like, he's got the best fucking, but he can't release, he's never going to come out now. Like, you know what I mean? After he said that. And then he just he tried to look like the victim after all this in interviews. Like, once he said, that shit about 40, I was like, I can't, like, I'm not taking it there. You know what I mean? Like get the fuck out of here, man. You should have. Right.
Okay.
He was trying to paint a picture for you, saying that it was like, you know what I mean? Like,
back in the day when they used to rap, when they first started, they would just take it around and it wouldn't be like this, right?
Right.
These guys are so popular now that 90% of their life is on TV, is on the news.
Well, that's why rap beat the change.
Yeah, and it's gotten really hard for them to hide stuff, right?
Now you need to do the interview. Yeah. You need to do the video dissing him, like on YouTube. You got to do the post interview. You got to do the rollout now for the diss. Oh, this diss is going to be on my album.
Why you're saying bad timing,
right?
And then you would get into being, not wanting to hurt anybody's feelings either. And then, you know what? It's like that politically correct, that whole thought, you don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right.
That's why you got to be careful on how you say a rap beef, because you're saying it at a certain time.
Right.
In somebody's life. You know what? Big deal.
Right.
You want to start beefing, you want to start rapping, you want to start talking shit about each other.
Right.
You're going to do it, doesn't matter what time. It doesn't matter if, but see, the media makes it and takes it into a whole new level where the problem is that now it makes it look like, I think it's taking the actual rap beef away on one side. It's making one person lose over the other,
right? Just
by one word that they say in a song, and you don't need that. Like, you don't need to have. I mean, everybody's got their opinion, yeah, of course, right?
Yeah.
If you wanted to say something about him being a bad fucking father, let him. You know what I mean?
Which he did.
Exactly. Yeah. But maybe he is. Who knows? We don't know that.
Yeah.
Bro. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
He's building a mansion.
Anyways, based off all that, though, he is. You see those videos of the mansion? Look at this new piece. Yeah.
Does he have a room for his son?
Sure.
There's a basketball court for his son or for him?
Anyways, I say all that to say that Toronto still loves you, Drake, but I'm sorry, you did take it all as far as I'm concerned in this rap beef. I'm sorry. The first one of your career. Listen, you could take it. You could take this little fucking loss as far as I'm concerned, but Pusha did I think win this bout, unfortunately. I mean, he was ready for him.
Listen to some more of that and understand it.
Yeah, maybe we can follow back up on this because you're not as you're not. I'm surprised you're not as more up on this. So I
don't know why for the Drake stuff. When it's on
you like these disses. I'll send them to you. I think you like them. You appreciate it.
Stuff like that because I'm at work, so it's a little hard.
All right, so there you go. I'm gonna make a note right now. We're gonna follow up with you on those disses because I would like to hear your opinion on these.
Yeah. Let's follow those guys up.
Yeah. All right. So with that, we're just gonna I guess we're gonna start wrapping up the show now. There was a couple of smaller, a lot of talking. Almost 2.5 hours this episode, bro.
Listen to us, guys. It's okay, man. But we talk and.
Again, we appreciate your feedback. If you have stuck in with us and listened to this whole episode by the time it gets released, please let us know your thoughts on this, things we can improve on, things you did enjoy. We'll be coming back. Our next subject, I believe, unless things change, is going to be all things Christmas, with it being very timely. We'll be dropping right before the holiday with our next episode. So, and this is just going to be like...
People likes Christmas. I think I'm the only one that doesn't. Bob fucking humbug.
But this is why I kind of want to get two different perspectives, because different people have different feelings about this holiday, right? In terms of what it brings and all the joy and terribleness that comes along with it.
Call-in show at that after that one, eh? We'll figure out how to set it up for a call-in. See what people have to say. Come on.
So we've already touched on most of our actually news articles without even trying. It seems like here. So very quickly, we talked about 6ix9ine being in jail.
Makes a list. I don't know.
Yeah, Lil Wayne free of cash money finally. Congrats to him.
Yeah, is he?
Yeah, he got out of that. Free of all that. That's why dedication came out. Is because he got off of Birdman's fucking grasp there.
Oh, those days, man. Can't we all just get along?
Really? Kanye West still crazy? I think so.
You know what? Trust me, man. I've always thought he was crazy since the first album.
What's going on with him? I'm not really sure.
I don't know if his pills aren't working for him.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's married to a Kardashian, so who gives a shit if he's crazy or not? She must be loving it.
Right. We never actually got to touch on this on our last episode of recording, and that was the untimely death of Mac Miller. So R.I.P. to him. I did enjoy his music. He is an artist that I went to see in concert actually with Peter once upon a time years ago here in Toronto. So
quite a few.
Mac Miller, Mac Miller's R.I.P. to him. He died of actually of fentanyl, something we talked about last episode. Yeah,
it's a drug, man. It's the one that's getting into everything, dude.
Yeah,
and they're just prescribing it for everybody.
Right.
If you got money.
Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son.
Yeah, man. What is that? For real?
Yeah. So. And this is, again, this new generation I don't understand.
This is why I believe sometimes it's marketing.
Right. So Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son, who's also an artist now in his own right, went on stage at Tyler, the Creator. He has like this, these concerts, like these tours. Yeah. And he went on stage at one of these concerts and announced to the crowd that he was Tyler, the Creator's boyfriend.
I wonder if that's real. Is it?
No one knows. So this is the thing. Tyler, the Creator, also one of the biggest trolls in hip-hop, has said as such on his last album. I'm not a big Tyler, the Creator fan, by the way. I just don't really get him.
They took the word out from that whole... They took the word faggot out.
Yeah, he said he was gay on his last album. But then he also went on to say... in the past or after that is like you cannot take anything he ever says seriously on an album. So no one actually knows if he was fucking with people or if he was actually is gay. But they've both been known to be bisexual, I guess, Tyler and Jaden Smith up to this point. So the fact that he came out and said that, no one knows if it's actually true or not. Tyler just played it off like it wasn't. Like said that he's crazy on Twitter, like, oh, this crazy dude, whatever.
I find like it's in a lot of TV shows.
But he's continuing to... Sorry?
It's in a lot of TV stuff now. And like...
Right.
Is where it used to be a lot of women on women. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but now there's a lot of guys on guys. Everything from Gotham,
right?
Like to TV shows. To
not that there's anything wrong with it, but like, why it is a joke? What kind of a joke is that to make? Yeah. Like, there's these kids, this generation now, like, oh yeah, I'm going to troll these guys and say I'm gay. Like, that's a weird, especially for hip hop, it's a very strange move, right?
Like and stuff like that, and radio is very influential
because they're actually making it worse.
Social media, anything,
like making fun of it. Like, that's what I mean. Is this a joke? I don't get it. Like, that's what I mean.
Way of bullying? I don't know.
I don't know. Like, it seems like they're just trolling people, like saying, "Oh yeah, we're gay together."
People that way by just bringing it out, right?
Right.
Be posted everywhere.
Because if it's true, good for them. But I don't know.
I know they want to make it so that it's more acceptable for everybody. But sometimes I think they're just overdoing it now.
Right.
And if you're overdoing it, then you know what, dude?
Yeah.
You're not. People are going to start taking it offensively. You know.
not only that, but in hip hop, I'm going to say I'm gay on my album, then I'm going to turn around and some other guy's going to say like we're gay together, and then we're going to make a big joke out of it, and no one knows if it's true or not.
Bullshit.
Like it's weird. It's just an odd move on many.
Yeah, that's a weird kind of marketing.
Because if they are just talking shit, it's actually it's bad. Like that they're making fun of it. Like it's kind of like.
But it's almost that's what I mean. It's almost like a lot of TV shows, a lot of even
right.
You said music, but even TV shows, they have it like that, and they're saying that they're either showing the gay people or they're showing.
People making fun of them being gay. Oh, look at me, I'm gay.
I don't have a problem with it. I hope everybody in the world is happy. Whatever turns their crank, bro.
Sure.
You know, when you're at a certain age, it makes it very, what's that word? You're very susceptible.
Vulnerable?
And vulnerable to market.
That's susceptible. Yeah, exactly.
However they're portraying stuff on TV, and you might take it the wrong way. Like if you take music the wrong way, right?
Right.
You might take take television the wrong way. You might take any of that the wrong way.
Right.
So who knows what this media and what it's doing with all of us, but we'll see what happens.
And then lastly, the last piece of news of the night, the most important piece of news of the night, that being said, Iggy Azalea was offered a Bang Bros contract because she said...
I didn't know that, dude. And then I remember how much Bang Bros I whacked off. And no homo there, but, with all the chicks on that show.
It's got a fat ass, man. I wouldn't mind seeing her on a Bang Bros. Why not?
Oh man,
she's not a good musician as far as I'm concerned.
Half, man. But do you think she's got? Was she offered one, or do you think
she was? But she's not taking it. No, it was.
She should let it do it undercover.
She announced that she was leaving her label, and then literally, I think like the next day after this news broke, and like a couple days passed, she like re-signed with the fucking label.
Yeah, because she had to make sure. Yeah, that nobody.
She's one of these controversial figures that like talks a lot of shit no one really likes, and so I think she was just trying to get some sort of attention. Yeah. And she said, I'm done with music. Yeah, exactly. Out of the media for a while. And then because of her assets, Bang Bros came through, and they're like, hey, listen, if you're not going to do music anymore, we'll offer you a contract. Hey, listen, why not? They tried. Kudos to them, bro, doing the Lord's work.
I wonder what the actual. We gotta find out what the offer was.
That I don't know. So we're gonna have to check our stats on that next episode.
And I'll have to throw this one out there. If, who would think I'm nuts if I'm going to Australia?
Oh, yes. And the show with that. Yeah, go ahead, JT.
An Eminem concert.
Pose the question. Once again, for the folks at home, JT. Pose this question. We're going to leave you on this. This is JT's question of the show here.
And I'm thinking of going down to Australia for 2 weeks to go visit a buddy. But I'm also going to pay some money to buy an Eminem ticket to go watch the concert down there. Because I know for sure it's confirmed down there. So I'm going to be in Brisbane, Australia. I guess it's pronounced that way. And we'll check it out. I want to see if the problem is that they go it from $200 tickets. And this is basically front stage. I'm not fucking around. I'm going like right to the front, man. And $500. Now, what do you guys think? That's something that I'm going to leave you with. Because I got a couple months to think about that one. But I'm still working on this Thailand trip for January 9th, so that should be a fucking crazy trip.
Right.
5 or 6 different islands, 4 buddies. That should be a good time.
Well, me personally, Jay, I think you should absolutely do it all. Do it all, bro.
I gotta do it, bro, man. If
you can afford it, despite the money you're gonna drop, you've never seen him in concert. He's your favorite artist. You have to. Anyone knows Jay, tell him, convince him that he has to do this.
If I would have went to where I was supposed to go at that same time of the year, you guys would have never stopped making fun of me for the rest of my life.
I'm still gonna make fun of you for it.
I lost some money on that one, but that's okay, man. What are you gonna do, dude?
Anyways,
you would make fun of me if I would have went to go.
I'm still making fun of you for what you did.
If I would have went to go see Britney Spears,
fuck that,
instead of Eminem at that same time, and I almost did it. You guys would have made fun of me, man. I was that close, but yeah, fuck, man.
All right,
guys would
so
have
let
never
Jay
me live
know.
that down.
Let Jay know. So thank you all for tuning in. If you stuck in with us through this 2.5 hour
Holy
episode,
shit.
I think we've really caught
it's gone a
our
little
we
bit
caught
better.
our rhythm here. I think
Maybe we're interrupting each other quite a bit. But
Right?
It's better that way.
but we got the rhythm going. I think we got a lot. We had
Nico likes to stick on topic. I can ramble on. You know what, dude? I'm not going to sleep for a few more hours. If Nico goes, if he's going to sleep, I'll sit here and talk to you guys for a while if you want to listen. But
No one wants to listen.
The only problem is I have nobody to talk to because unless you call in on my cell phone, I'm screwed. You know, I have to text you, hey, call in.
It's not happening. I'm kicking you out right now.
Nico's getting rid of me, man. She's got a lot of masturbating to do. You know, the wife is at home.
Yes.
So.
With that being said, we will conclude our first official episode of Late Night Chat with JT and Nico.
Better success, hopefully, than last time, and at least we got it all figured out. You might hear me clicking the pen there in the background. I'm just getting fidgety.
There's a little bit of clicking going on.
Used to having nothing in my hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you once again if you have stuck in within these 2.5 hours with us. And please come back next time when we talk about all things Christmas, JT's favorite subject.
Yes. We're going to have a great friggin' time with that one. We'll have to see.
All right.
All right?
Later, guys.
Take care. Have a good night.